is advised.
Good afternoon and a very happy Easter to all of those of you around the world watching. This is Safari Live, and we have got some vultures and the Unuma pride. And, of course, it is myself, once again, with you, Steve Falconbridge. I'm just back from leave. On camera, we've got Ferg, who's also just back in from leave. We're excited. We are happy. The life of the lions is going on, and we have got what seems to be the remains of a kudu kill. Please feel free to send through your questions. Hashtag Safari Live. Follow us on the YouTube stream. Let us know what you'd like to see. I've been out of touch for the last 10 days, so it's been a marvelous leave. Both Ferg and I are fresh, and we're excited, and we are nowhere near as full as that lion in the front of the picture. Look at the size of that belly. This absolutely gorges itself. The area around here is completely flat from where the lions have been scuffling and feeding, and the big male kudu has been shared probably relatively equally between the pride. Apart from maybe the very smallest individual, might just have got a few scraps. And we have many, many, many vultures in the tree awaiting what the lions might leave behind. I doubt there's going to be too much. And what we have seen already is some of these hooded vultures, because the majority of those trees in there are actually hooded vultures. Becky and Tom, thank you. I am back. Yes, nice to be back. So most of these, that is an immature hooded vulture. You can see by the brown, dark plumage on the head. The rest of them are adults, most of them anyway. And hooded vultures, in my opinion, are the most reliable vulture when it comes to finding meat and animals. So lions with a kill, for example, look where the hooded vultures are, and directly below them is where you'll find the meat. So these poor vultures, and what a disgusting way it is to experience their afternoon. They are landing on the floor, and they are feeding on, yes, they are feeding on lion droppings. Sorry about the aerial there. Those two are now fighting over some lion droppings, because that is all that the Unkuhumas are going to leave these vultures. And it is a way of life for them. It is the protein source. It might sound quite revolting to all of us out there. But there you can see the beautiful pink head, quite narrow beak, and that sort of V-shape white on the chest. Beautiful birds, in my opinion. Very important for the environment. Vinny would like to know how long it would take these lions to digest the meat. Vinny, probably 2 days at the earliest. By that stage, they'll probably move off to feed again, but their tummies are completely full. They won't need to eat for another week. They will, but they won't need to. You can see that one there's nowhere near as full as this youngster in the foreground, but the sun is slowly coming out. It is 28 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a nice, relatively cool afternoon in Juma in the Sabi Sands, and it has been a very hot week building up to this, and I think the lions are enjoying a little bit of the respite. There's not too much shade around where they are at the moment, but they're making do of very small branches. He's guarding the kill with absolute purpose. Look at that. Huge breathing, because as you can imagine, all that meat pushing down on the diaphragm forces it up, and then the breaths are very short. Hello again, Vinny. You want to know if vultures have permanent homes or follow food? Vinny, they generally will have colonies. For example, whiteback vultures will nest in colonies. Hooded vultures, I'm trying to think. I think they just have normal nesting sites, sort of spaced out from each other. Cape vultures will generally be up on cliff faces, same as Leopard face vultures, but they can be very, very far away. But every single morning, when the heat and the thermals start rising, the vultures will descend or ascend from their place of rest, and they'll go up high into the sky, spreading out into a very large network of birds, and they've got very keen eyes. And as soon as one of them drops, doesn't matter how far away it is, it causes a ripple effect which forces vultures from many, many kilometers in either direction to come through and to find the exact same meat as the first individual. So they help each other with that. Okay, so on that note, we're going to go over to Miss McCurdy, who has found herself a little family.
A family of disappearing pigs.
Swines. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sunset Safari. My name is Tayla, and on camera with me today is VM. It's so glary looking back that way. Okay, right. We're going to get on the move. Now, lots of exciting things have happened during the day. Hosanna was apparently still sleeping on the dam wall. He's now gone. Can't find him, but I'm sure he's about somewhere. I see you, pigs. There are actually warthogs there. Hello. They think they're invisible now. And then Tingana. Thank you to all of you who tagged me in the screenshots who are watching the carcass cam, visited the carcass, the elephant carcass, but we can't find him either. We don't really see any tracks of leopards crossing out, so we're just going to have a little scratch around at the moment. We do have our rain roof on at the moment too, so you will be seeing black bars kind of coming into frame every now and then. Please do watch out for that. Or no, you don't. You just have to watch them as we go past them. It's very glary today. I suppose it's because it's been cloudy and overcast the whole day. Our eyes haven't had a chance to adjust to the light. So what we're going to do is I think we're going to go quickly check Treehouse Dam, have a look there, and then we'll come back onto Elephant Carcass towards Twin Dams. And go back down Twin Dams, check Twin Dams again, all the jackalberries, check in the Mulwati, and hopefully find some leopards for you this afternoon. The gremlins have already got Tristan. Can you believe it? The Easter gremlins. VM, we didn't even bring any chocolate out on safari today. You've just been eating chocolate. I did have chocolate for breakfast this morning. It was very nice. So delicious. It wasn't Easter eggs though, it was just normal chocolate. Then we did also have some Easter eggs. We were fighting over the Lindt chocolate. There was a trading process that was going on in camp. It wasn't working very well. As no one wanted to swap out, because you know I told you I don't like those marshmallow Easter eggs. No one would trade me. Not that I was doing a good deal, like swapping 6 of those for like 1 Lindt chocolate, but no one would swap with me. They will take your Bex, did you trade yours before me? I think Rebecca got in and she scooped up the deal before I was, quick enough. Bex, oh, squirrel! Why would you do that? Why on earth would you run out underneath my tire? I didn't get it. That was terrifying. I don't even think I was in second gear yet. And the squirrel just decided to come out the grass, had a marula nut in its mouth, like right underneath my tire. But it made it through. Don't worry, it's safe, it's alive. Sure. That was a close call for that squirrel. Hey, that wouldn't have been very nice. Perhaps, Rebecca, perhaps it was stealing chocolates. So we'll just check here. We're almost at Twin Dam. I need to stop saying Twin Dams. We're almost at Treehouse Dam. We'll have a little look-see. Now, if you have only just joining us for the first time on a safari, of course, a big welcome to all of you. Remember, you can ask us questions, #SafariLive. But I bet most of you are probably spending time with your family instead of watching us today. But please keep us company, because we're all at work while you all spend time with your family, and I have to get stuck with this bunch. Send through your thoughts on how sorry you feel for me today. Just jokes. Also, my mom said that the Easter Bunny left me chocolate and pajamas at home. I then inquired about the Pringles. She said, no, not this year. I mean, talk about tradition. Breaking it. Unacceptable. Okay, what do we got at the dam? What do we got here? Sure. Oh. Are you kidding me? Not even Mr. and Mrs. Blacksmith Lapwing are here today. VM, aren't you shocked? They're always here. I think I just see it. Who's on the... If we go to the right, there's some birds moving on the end. Is that a little sandpiper? I think so. And maybe a dove of sorts. If you go a little bit further to the right... Oh, who just landed there? Hello? What even are you? Oh, a chugra. Hello, chugra. Looks like one. Actually, it's very glary. Maybe I must also have a look with my binoculars. It's so far away, I can't even tell you what that is. Anyways, and it's very glary. We'll keep looking around for things that have spots on them. Maybe we'll find an Easter egg or two, or if you go back to a Steve whose lions are pretty warm.
I'm sure Tayla would be dying to find you an Easter egg or two. We are here with Nkuhumas, and we have moved around a little bit just to get a nice look at these females. Here we have in picture the one that I believe is called Pretty, she has got the damaged right eye. When she opens it, you can see it's got a bit of a purplish tinge to it, and it's probably blind, which makes her, it does take away a little bit of her advantage as a predator, but as I've said before, being in a pride gives her the strength and ability to still manage to feed and be quite successful, and what a pride this is indeed. And as you can see them panting, folks, there's been a few ablutions that have gone on while you have been away from us, and the wind is very unfavorable for us. The vultures are loving the lion excrement, and the smell, I must be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, is something that you would not quite comprehend. Ferg is giggling as well. He's trying not to shake the camera. But the lions will always go and do something like that. But they'll always go and stand up and look at you and then defecate and then just kind of give you this knowing smile of, yep, the wind is blowing towards you now. So they are very full. It's not too much left on that kudu carcass, just the main sort of cervical vertebra and the back. And it seemed from what we could see from our vantage point that all of the meat is gone. So they'll be leaving probably the bigger bones for the scavenging hyenas. It was really quite interesting on our way through, seeing lots and lots of tracks on the road. Obviously, Tayla had told me that the Unkumas were here, so I knew where we were going, but there was all sorts of interesting activity from probably yesterday, from where the lions were chasing hyenas and tracks of hyena and lion all over the place with a bit of rainfall. I really, really love seeing those scenes. I'd love to be able to watch it, go back and to replay. And that's what's so wonderful about tracking is you can go out, you can kind of see. Read the bush newspaper, as my trackers used to tell me, and they can see and tell you things that you just can't quite perceive. And it's quite nice to sort of put that back into perspective and to try and investigate everything that went down. Vinny wants to know if they breathe quickly to help digesting, or is it to cool down? Well, there's a lot of cooling down needed, but they do a lot of the cooling down through their feet. But it's because the diaphragm is pushed. It's very, very full stomach. The diaphragm's pushed up, so their lungs are restricted for the movement. So they're having to breathe like that to get enough oxygen just to maintain their normal body process. It would be almost impossible for them to run at this stage because they would just be out of breath very, very quickly. It's almost like going higher in altitude. The compression or the oxygen changes in the air, and so it becomes more and more difficult to breathe. It's kind of like that. They've just got a restriction in the lung capacity. And this is the lady with the injured bottom. We've all seen that injury. It's looking far better than it did only 2 weeks ago when I last saw this pride. But you can see with her full belly, that's going to do her very, very well in the healing process. So another injured candidate in the pride who is still doing very, very well because of the assistance of her sisters. An injury like that or a blindness in a leopard would make it very difficult for them to still maintain good condition. Hello, Robert. You'd like to know if all lions have names? No, Robert, not all lions. But what happens with the show is that people like to get more involved and to try and follow the characters. So definitely on Safari Live, there's names. Whenever I've worked in the past, we've only given the pride name. We've never really given the individuals names, purely because the dynamics can change. And I think a lot of people fall in love with the characters, and if they do disappear, it becomes quite difficult to deal with. But if you're in a large reserve with multiple prides coming in and out, it's very difficult to keep focus on the individual names, I find anyway. But here, with what we do, we spend a lot of time with these animals, so it is quite nice for us to follow their lives and their stories. And as you probably know, all our leopards in the area have got very good characters and names, and we follow them, or all of you do at home, follow them very, very well. Isn't she beautiful? A little finger grass in front. It's almost too uncomfortable for her to lie down. She's so full. So she's between, what am I going to do? Is she frothing at the mouth there, Ferg? She is, eh? Shame. And that's an enormous tick on the side of her face there. Costa, would you like to know what big cats hunt the most? Well, all the big cats hunt. Who hunts the most is really hard to say. It's all about being hungry. So a large pride of lions would have to hunt more than a leopard because they've got more mouths to feed, but a smaller pride of lions would have to hunt less, if that makes any sense. And then cheetah might hunt more than other cats purely because they lose their kill. Oh, did you hear that? She had a little bit of expulsion of air as she lay down there. We hope the wind is still favourable. So I hope that answers your question. All the cats will hunt when need be, and they will hunt on necessity, and they'll hunt just out of pure instinct. I've had a leopard with a baby zebra and 2 warthogs in the same tree that he caught in the same morning, because we saw him catch the zebra, and then by the time we got there in the afternoon, he had the 2 warthogs. So he didn't do that because he was hungry. He did it because it just appeared in front of him, and he grabbed what he could. Those of you who are watching the last TV show will have seen Hukumuri, how he killed the warthog and then stashed it, and then shortly afterwards killed a steenbok. It's his instinct. They just will catch what they can whenever they can. So I hope that answers your question. But hunger is definitely what drives them to feeding. Okay, folks, so Tristan's finally eaten all his chocolate and is ready to join us this afternoon. Let's go over to him and see what he has for you.
Nope, I have not eaten all of my chocolate, Steve. In fact, actually, I've been fairly good. I haven't eaten most of them. It's because Jerry ate all of them, and that's why none of us have any Easter eggs. As Steve mentioned, my name is Tristan. On camera, I've got Craig, a.k.a. the Batman. Craig, did your thumb even go through past the lens there? Yes, it did. Okay, excellent. Craig likes the lower left-hand corner of the frame, apparently. Anyway, we are out and about. We have had a few little issues because Brent obviously had a little temper tantrum because, well, even though we didn't have our big cricket game, we had a little boys' cricket game, didn't we, Craig? Yeah. And what happened in our cricket game, Craig? Brent got out a lot, didn't he? Yes, Brent. It was Brent and Tristan. We had a competition who could get who out, and I got him out 3 times, and Brent didn't get me out once. So we all now have to give Brent a bit of trouble tomorrow, because otherwise there's going to be a situation where he's going to tell you all that he batted for the longest, which might have some element of truth to it, but he definitely didn't. He didn't have my number, as he said. There was no psychological advantage, and he's going to bleat about LBW, which is called leg before wicket, and how he got me out, but that's not really going to be apply because we didn't have an umpire, and so there's no way of telling. It's a 50-50 call either way, and I said I wasn't out, he said I was, but that's what's happened. Now, Rebecca says it's because we didn't tell her, and that's why she couldn't come be an umpire. Bex, it was kind of a warm-up, a friendly between the boys that we decided to play, and then it kind of got more and more spicy as it went. As you know, boys can't play a game of friendly cricket because otherwise it's just, it's not how we are. We all built to be super competitive. Conrad was definitely the player that hit the ball the furthest and the hardest and was just trying to kind of murder that cricket ball. Well, not that cricket ball, but a resemblance of a cricket ball, and the rest of us were trying to just play the patience game, but Conrad definitely was the one that was hitting it the hardest, which was not really the way to go on our game because we had all these funny little rules, and actually the harder you hit it, the more you got out. And then there was Craig, who was the surprise. Brent couldn't handle Craig's bowling as well. He also couldn't get Craig out, so Brent was getting very frustrated with the way Craig was handling himself. So anyway, it was a successful morning's cricket, and it was a bit of fun, and we had a good laugh, and we had a bit of a joke around with it. Now, this sounds worrying. Anyway, I'm going to send you off to Tayla, who apparently is no longer a guide, but now has become a fashion stylist.
Before you get to see what's happening, I'm trying to finish Maurice's outfit. Okay, almost, because his clothes are falling off now. Maurice is also a boy, but he's very trendy. Okay. There we go. Liz, this is just for you. You're wondering if Maurice had a new Easter outfit? Yes, obviously. How fancy. Does Maurice look still dirty, though? He hasn't taken a bath since he was first brought into this world. Hey? Hey? We should have made him shoes. We'll have to try and figure out how to make him shoes. I feel like I'm in the wrong career. I mean, You don't even want to know what I've made this outfit out of, but I've made it with things that have come from my camera box. I think it's fabulous, Maurice. You look gorgeous. Now, Elise, who's only 6 years old, I don't know if I can tell you how many chocolates I ate because I think your mom will be upset with me. And, oh, Billy, not Elise. Billy. Hi, Billy. That's, you see, I've had too many chocolates. Too much energy. I'm trying to think now back. I had 2 little... Oh, no. Sorry, my signal's not so great today, but I had 2 Easter eggs like that. One had coconut in it, the other one had strawberries, and then I also ate probably half a slab of chocolate. So, Betty, there we go. Don't do what I did, but I'm an adult, so I'm allowed to do these things, so that's something to look forward to when you're a little bit older. Right, off you go, back to Steve with the lion's ear.
Yes, thanks for that insight, Tayla. Well, we've moved around again, and we've now got this young, it looks like almost a young male, but I think it's a female. It's one of the youngsters in the Unuma pride, and you can't see it now, but we might get another look. Talking about feeding and feeding aggressively, the right eye of this individual has been smashed. So the left eye looks okay, but if we look at the right eye, maybe it will turn back to us. You'll see that the eye is completely black inside, and it's probably from feeding. Probably got a massive claw in the eye itself during the festivities or during the competition that goes down when lions feed. Hello, Susie. You'd like to know if lions have a third eyelid like domestic cats? I have no idea. Ooh, I have no idea. But we just missed it there. The other lion to the back just walked off with what looked like a kudu leg. But we'll go around shortly and have a look. But I want to show you this eye. Sorry, Ferg, of this youngster. I have no idea. Maybe any of the other viewers out there can help Susie with a question about the third eyelid. I'm not aware of that at all. But there you can see just where the fly is moving on the eye itself. It's very bloody and very dark. And the pupil inside looked very, very badly damaged from what I could see. But lions off, there we go. Look at that. The eye is not in a good state. It actually opened it earlier for us, and you could see inside the entire pupil was just bloodshot red, dark, bloody red. Maybe it will show us. I think it's too sore. But it's amazing how resilient these animals are, and how they can actually come back from things like that. I wasn't physically there, but a company, Ferg actually worked for them, called Aquavision. They were doing a documentary at Singita in the Kruger Park, and the 2 of the guys who were on the vehicle, the cameraman and the guy who was driving, the one pride, the mountain pride, actually jumped onto the back of a hippo, and the hippo tried all it could to try and dislodge the lions, and then turned and grabbed one of the lionesses by the face. One of the tusks went in behind the eye, and one went in underneath the chin. And it picked it up just like a rag doll and threw it away. And we thought surely that lion would die. But within 2 to 3 weeks, she was walking with the pride as if nothing had happened. But she never regained the use of that one eye, because I think the tusk going in behind would have severed probably the nerve endings there. But that is the thing with lions. They are in pride, so they can support each other, as we've seen with the other 2 adult lioness that are not in the best shape, but still look in pretty good condition. But this youngster has taken a beating quite early on in life. But what won't kill you only makes you stronger. Not panting as heavily as the others. I wonder if it got as much of the meal. Looking quite full. Hello, Vinny. You want to know if the other lions will help clean the eye? I've seen that. I've seen lions cleaning their eyes. For example, that lioness I was talking about with the hippo, you had the other lionesses coming up and trying to lick the wounds. It wasn't received very well because it was very painful, but they were still willing to do it, and it will probably happen, but it looked very, very painful, that eye, to me. Hey, Ferg, you thought so too at the time. But I'm not sure. I hope that nothing untoward has happened to it and it'll be fine. It's maybe just a bruising. But there's trying to open it. Oh, shame. Looks like it's been in the boxing ring with Mike Tyson. Shame. Poor lion, eh? But that is what happens out here. That's why the feeding and competition in lions is so important for their survival. Because, you know, you've got to get stronger. And if you can't survive at the feeding time, then you will not grow up to be a big and strong individual. So it starts off very, very young. And that competition for the feeding is what makes them stronger. Hello, Aiden H6. I hope you're having a fantastic Easter, wherever you might be. You want to know can the lion put medicine in its eye? I wish it could, Aiden, but they don't. They don't. They'll probably just lick it, and their saliva is actually quite good for cleaning wounds, far better than you'd think. But they don't use plant material or any medicines out here. And being wild animals, we are not going to interfere and assist this animal anyway. If it got injured through any means that was related to human incident, then often game reserves might intervene. But if it's a natural thing happening out here in the wilderness, and this probably would have been just over the meat, that it got injured by one of its own family members. So no, there's nothing we're going to do and nothing that the lion can do apart from wait it out and just lick it and keep it clean itself. And the saliva actually is a very, very, very good cleaning agent for the wounds inside of these cats, which I've seen. And as we've seen on that other individual with that big wound on the back, there's been nothing done there apart from just probably licking. I mean, every time we see her, there's flies and maggots and things. Okay, so we're going to stay here with the lions a bit longer. Let's go to Tristan, who's got a bird of prey.
Well, good luck with the lions. We have found one of our favorite raptor characters that we see out in the bush here, which is the African Harrier hawk. And there is a few of these guys that fly around. I think this is the one that we see a lot on Quarantine. We see it flying from dead tree to dead tree, and it's posing ever so nicely against a rather sort of grey cloud base at the moment. But it's kind of just sitting in the dead trees and taking it very easy. And every now and then it sort of fluffs up its head and it kind of turns and looks around, and it got dive bombed a bit just now when it flew from one dead tree to another, and lots of grey go-away birds were alarm calling at it. But I wonder if it's looking for hunting or if it's just kind of sitting around taking a bit of a break. They do fly around a lot, these birds, and generally short little flights from one tree to another as they scavenge around, or not scavenge, but search for food. And you'll find they kind of go in and they put their feet into holes and pull out all kinds of things like squirrels and birds and even scorpions. Now, we were talking about scorpions this morning and trying to find them. And so a tree like that it's sitting in, one of those dead trees with lots of loose bark, is scorpion paradise. And so that's why these birds will sometimes go into them and use those long legs to try and find those scorpions in amongst that bark itself. Ravinda, it is a nice looking bird, isn't it? It's got this kind of beautiful yellow face and yellow legs with this grey sort of wing structure and a heavily barred tail. When it flies, it's one of the most sort of diagnostic features is that big bars on the tail. You might have seen it there as it opened its wings and its tail kind of opened out. And funny enough, Ravinda, this bird actually can change its face colour. So it can go from yellow to red, and that's when the bird is excited. It flushes that red colour, and it happens quite quickly. It's almost like you blushing, or when you go kind of a bit red like that, that's kind of how it works. So it's a interesting thing. It's not many birds have that ability to flush their color as quick as what these guys do. Now you see, look, it's walking around on the bark, and it's probably now looking for any signs of anything. So it walks along, and then it sees a little hole, or it notices something or some movement, and then it'll try and kind of hunt whatever that is. And that goes, like I say, from lizards to squirrels to birds all the way to scorpions, which is pretty amazing. And they do a lot of walking on trees. Even though they look like they obviously have a beautiful wingspan and they can fly, they are able to walk around on trees as well. It's a bit obscured now, so let's try to see. Maybe we can get a better view of it again. I might fly away. These guys do sometimes are a little bit, well, they are a little bit flighty at times, so we'll see whether or not it's going to stay still. So Sinak's biggest egg is laid by a ostrich. That is the biggest egg in Africa. An elephant bird that used to lay a bigger egg than the ostrich. And then, but those are extinct. So ostrich is currently the biggest egg. And then the smallest egg is an interesting one. Africa is a big place, so I'm not 100% sure about Africa, but in southern Africa, it's, I think, the penduline tit that lays the smallest egg. I might be wrong, but it should be the penduline tit particularly here, it should be the penduline tit. But in terms of the whole of Africa, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. We'll have to try and see if maybe Steve or Tayla know the answer to that question as to whether they are, well, whether there is a bird within Africa that has a very, very small egg. I'm sure some of you might be able to help us out as well. So hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or YouTube chat if you have an idea of Africa's smallest egg layer. I'm sure it's documented somewhere. I just honestly can't remember for the life of me. I'm pretty sure I've read it too, but I just seriously can't remember. Maybe it's because it's Easter Sunday and the brain is not doing well. It's just all about chocolate today, I suppose, and that's maybe why the brain is not working. There's the Unuma tracks from last night. So I wonder if there's anything lying at this pan. Let's go and check this pan and see if there's anything drinking from the pangolin track pan. It'd be so nice if there was once a pangolin on this pangolin track. Now while we do that, let's send you back across to Steve, who I believe has got the lions now feeding off of their carcass.
Yes, indeed. A pangolin would be fantastic. And I think we'd abandon everything here and we'd rush over to see the pangolin ourselves. I've only ever seen one before in my life with absolutely no evidence for that, which was quite disappointing. So always have your phone or camera when you're going to find a pangolin. So here we've got what is the remainder of some kudu legs. And there's not much left. You see lots of flies, there's some ants, and if Ferg just zooms back a bit, you'll be able to see now that patch there, that big bloody sort of messy patch where the kill happened and where the feeding took place and where the lions disturbed the ground. There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of fur, there'll be a lot of maggots and all sorts of flies that land there. And what it is that's now a little different hotspot. So differences have changed in the community. The grass has been flattened. There's different dynamics with regards the rumen content would be spilled out there. When the vultures come down and feed, their feces will go into the mix, the lions' feces. So the small little area that the lions have been in with the dead kudu have formed a nice little hotspot or change in the community dynamics. And I know those of you who've been watching the show, I've been keeping abreast slightly in all about the elephant carcass not too far away, and you have a look at the ground around that, and that can stay like that for years, because of the amount of disturbance that has happened from the lions feeding, the hyenas feeding, from the elephant bones, from the skin, from all the vultures. I mean, vultures that park in a tree, if you park your car underneath and they defecate on your car, it will actually strip the paint. So they've got very, very powerful digestive juices. So numerous numbers of them on the ground feeding and squabbling for the last bits of whatever meat might remain often lead to, as I'm talking about, a beautiful hot spot that can remain in an area for a very long time, and different communities will grow. There different fertilizer regimes happen, the blood and the fecal contents together form an interesting dynamic and a little bit of a fertile spot. There you can see the difference in the size of the hooded and the whiteback. And actually the one on the left is an adult hooded. The one on the top, it looks like he's a bit more brown on the head, but then the face is quite pink, but he almost looks like a juvenile. And then the whiteback, which is bigger. You can see quite noticeably bigger. But the hooded vulture is the smallest vulture that we find, and not often seen in large groups. This is the most I've ever seen. I counted 17 just now, which is the most hooded vultures I've ever seen before, which is awesome. Okay, so I hope you're all finding your Easter eggs. Taylor's busy searching for something that's also hiding in the grass.
I have eaten them all. Anyways, guess who we've got here? We've got our family of 3 warthogs that we've been seeing over the past few days. So I thought you'd like to say hello to them. running away from us unusually, but it might be because there's a helicopter that's taken to the air, and a lot of the animals don't actually enjoy, helicopters. Now, we're obviously inspecting Maurice's outfit. I forgot to show you. You won't believe it, this elephant, he's going through a phase in his life now where he had a piercing done. He's got a nose ring now. Don't you love Maurice's nose ring? And then, what did you say, View? Looks like Easter. But what did you say? He's trunking. What was the word you used? Oh, he looks... Oh, okay. No, I heard something else. Anyway, he's trunktastic now. Rebecca's very quiet, so I don't know if she likes the fact that Maurice has got a piercing. We can make him take it out, because he doesn't need it. Listen to Rebecca giving such mom advice. She said he's a teenager, and that he can keep it for now, because one day he'll realize that he doesn't need it. Here we go. Advice for the day. Did you hear that, Maurice? You don't need no piercings. Like me. I don't even have my ears pierced. Can you believe that? I'm too terrified. Which is... A lot of people laugh at me and they don't understand because I have tattoos. But I have a phobia of the needle going through and through. That's too terrifying. What are you shouting at, Sister Killer? Where are you? Oh, obviously nothing important because you flew away. Okay. Well, false alarm there from the testicular. Sometimes they do just shout. Now, we're on Chitwa because we weren't winning around Twin Dams, unfortunately. BM. In here is a little black and white bird. Like there. Somewhere. Where are you? I think we may... I don't know if it was I think it may have been a black-backed puffback that was about. There is a fork-tailed drongo. No, it's also just flown away. We got the roof on, which is a little bit difficult. We said we weren't going to do too much birding today, but the other animals don't want to come out and play. Beautiful fork-tailed drongo, very easy to see with that red eye. Did you see it again? Who's that? Yes! Hello! There's the black-backed puffback. Nicely done, VM. Also got a red eye. There's two of them moving about on this tree, also looking for all sorts of little insects and things. I haven't seen the black-backed puffback for a while. And they make a cool call. It's like one of the few bird calls I can do. They go like this. Something along those lines. Apparently not good enough though. Well, let's see if I roll, if we can get closer to them. I can also hear a chin spot batters calling to it. Just went somewhere, going. Come out, birdies. Nah, I'm not a real bird, obviously. Okay, we'll carry on. So what we're going to do now, we are going... Oh, look at that one though, VM. I'm gonna keep rolling. There we go. Ah, beautiful. Go away, birds sitting very, very close to the tree. We don't often get them sitting so close. You see how we've even started speaking softer as to not scare this bird away? Because it is not very often we get such a close view. And off it flies. Oh well, that was pretty cool though. Just sitting up in Leadwood now, where they normally sit, but difficult though with the rain roof. Anyways, off we go, back to Steve. We're going to try and find Tingana behind the dam wall.
Oh, I hope you do find Tingana. I haven't seen him in so long. It's been about a month for me, I think, since I've seen him. Way too long. It's about time he showed himself. But we are still with the lions. They're not doing too much, ladies and gentlemen, but I'd like to just continue that discussion about the importance, and how everything works in the ecosystem. First of all, there you have the lions lying on some grass, and there are some trees all around them. Both of them aid in the camouflage of the cat, but the plants provide the food and the resources which the kudu then takes into themselves. And then the lions come along and they feed on them, and there's death and decay, and the vultures do the remaining feeding and the remaining defecations and decomposition. And then you get the dung beetles and all the beetles and flies and larvae and everything. And slowly but surely that all ends back up in the soil and the cycle starts all over again. So none of it is wasted. It is all very, very well in tune with the balance and circle of life. And just for that example, I've got what I found in the front of the car here, which is a marvelous dung beetle ball. And those of you have probably seen this before in the past. It is a very, very nice example of what a dung beetle will do, what's called a nuptial ball. Not always the nuptial ball, but where the male and female will actually mate. The male will actually create this ball and then roll it away from the site of the food. In this case here, it's going to be the rumen content of that dead kudu. And so then he will find a female, or she will find him because of the beautiful size of this ball that is created. Then they'll mate and lay one egg, and inside hatches a individual dung beetle, and very, very well revered by the Egyptians. They look back because they believe that the dung beetle goes through the same process as their pharaohs did, because they also were covered as mummies. When a dung beetle goes through this whole cocoon stage inside and metamorphosizes from a larvae into the beetle itself, they go through the same sort of transition as the pharaohs hoped to do in the afterlife. So very, very well looked after, and very, very important nutrient recyclers for putting everything from the lion's dung, the vulture's dung, and everything else back into the soil, and the circle of life continues. So Evelyn wants to know, why do lions hunt in prides? The reason they hunt in prides is because they can take bigger prey animals. If you are one individual, like for myself, for example, if I had to go and try to take something down, first I've got to be fast enough to catch it, and second enough, I've got to be strong enough to put it down. Now, if you're not that fast or that strong, then you can have friends who can help you, almost like a team, a football team or a rugby team. To try and play the game on your own is very, very difficult. So with more numbers, more strength, more tactics, more sort of ambush, and some of them can chase from this side and some can ambush that side, then with the weight in numbers, they can pull down much larger prey than a leopard could, for example, and then also be able to feed on much larger prey. And at the same time, the larger the pride, the bigger the territory and the stronger they will be for defense of that territory. I hope that works. Robert, I would love to find the male lions for you. I don't know. I believe they've been seen on the property in the last couple of weeks. Ferg and I don't have the information. Unfortunately, I didn't spend enough time chatting with Tristan and Tayla about it, but I will find out more where they are. Some of the tracks I saw on the way here were of male lions, but I've just got back this afternoon, so I'd love to find them for you. Who knows? There's been interesting dynamics between the Birmingham boys and their Voca males, and hopefully those dynamics will continue into the near future. Well, we're going to go quickly over to Tayla, who's got probably one of the cutest animals ever seen.
They are the cutest animals you've ever seen, after Maurice, of course, his cousins, the real-life versions of him. We have got a little herd of elephants. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, just feeding behind the dam wall where we were hoping to find Tingana laying about. But they're doing a bit of weeding at the moment. They all seem to be feeding on a creeper, or I don't actually know what they're feeding on, but it's creeping along the ground. And it seems to be growing in this sort of drainage line. Now, this is a relatively disturbed sort of area. You can see a lot of erosion that's gone on, so I wonder what they are feasting upon. But they're all eating it. It's quite cool. I'm going to have a look to actually see if I can figure out what plant it is, but it is a bit difficult. Looks like I've got a big taproot to it. Delicious. Very, very nice. Hello, girl. So I'm watching this other elephant. What? I'm so sorry. You've got plenty room here. Yes. No, please don't be ugly to us, because I don't actually have too many places to go this afternoon. We're on the damn wall. Thank you. You've got so much space. It's okay. Oh, yes, and check cheeky tot over here. You're just doing that because you've got mom next to you. If you were on your own, you'd be running with your tail between your legs. And they have got a lot of room. They just might be a little bit nervous. Coming up on the rise. Hey, big girl. And they're heading to the dam, where we're going to have the whole herd actually funnel past us, which will be lovely. Off you go. Here come the rest of them, and a little baby that you'll be able to see too. It's tiny and absolutely precious. I think we came to the dam at the right time. Some of them, whoopsie, careful. Up you get. That's what happens. You got too excited. Got to watch where you put those feet, little ones. Some of them look like they've got wet feet, like they've been playing around. Hello, big girl. Yes, yes. Don't worry, I'm not interested in your little elephant. See how they've tucked that little one away? Come on, careful, steady. Watch yourself. Mom, help little one. It's difficult to navigate that treacherous terrain. They're going slowly. All the big sisters and brothers going, don't worry, we've got your back. We'll make sure she doesn't get you. Now they're going to decide where they're going to go. Now they're on top of the damn wall. I'm not going to actually start the car at all now because I don't want to upset them while they're on the wall. You can see they were a little bit nervous of us, but I think it's because of the very young calf. So we'll let them go down and then we will make our move too. Yay, drinking elephants. It's exciting. And just let them go a little bit further. Perfect. That's our cue. Now that they're going down to the water's edge, we can move. Oh. Well, Maurice doesn't have an official birthday, unfortunately. Pradeep, who's only 6 years old, I'm going to go this way and then we'll look down onto them so I don't disturb them. Well, this is what this is what I was going to say. Rebecca says, oh, sorry, VM, do you want me to go back a little bit more? Is that okay? A little bit back. VM wants me to go back just a tad. Just a tad. And there we go. Oh my goodness, I don't know where to look anymore. So, Pradeep, I would say that Maurice's birthday would have to be on my birthday, which is the 28th of August. So Rebecca has said that we are twins, you know, we're identical twins, in fact. I don't know how none of you spotted that we look exactly the same. It was quite nice. Oh, little Willow's back. So Willow, I don't know if the elephant's like Maurice. My stuffed toy. Don't tell Maurice that he's a stuffed toy, though. He thinks he's a real elephant. I haven't actually introduced him. Who knows? Willow, maybe one day I'll just have to toss him to the ground and see if a young elephant picks him up and takes him home, and then he'll be free in the wild. We'll have to test that out, though. But then I also don't want to lose Maurice. I'm selfish. I want to keep him forever and ever and ever and ever. He'll be coming on safari with me for the rest of my life. So can you imagine in 10 years' time when I post a picture about Maurice? He'll be 10 then. Because I feel like he's young. Although, Rebecca, how old is Maurice? How old was he when we adopted him? Because he wasn't just born. He was 7 last year, August. So he's turning 8 this year. So he's not even a teenager yet. And he's got a piercing. Oh, okay, Rebecca's now said in elephant years, he's basically turning 15 in human years. Okay, that makes me... Whew, what kind of parent would I be that let an 8-year-old my heart? Hey? That's terrible. Okay, we can take it off. No, you can have it. I like it. No, I'm going to put my ring back on now. That's, of course, was just my ring, everybody, not an actual piercing that I gave Maurice. Right, off you go to, I don't know who has got this vulture, but apparently there's one sitting on a branch.
Yes, we do. Thanks, Tayla. And it is picked up some picked up some lion dung off of the ground, was stalked and chased by the lion. And now you can see, look at the crop underneath the throat there. On the throat, that is full of what I can only assume is the scraps of lion dung that it's been picking up from around the area. But seeing as we've got the vulture in picture, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please pay attention. On the 8th of April, we are having what we call Draw a Bird Day. And Pradeep and Willow and all the other kids out there, please send through your pictures, draw a bird and send them through to us. We'd love to have a look at them. 8th of April, we'd love to see your take on the birds out there, boys and girls. Please send them through as we look at this beautiful vulture. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so please send them through before the 8th of April so we can put them together into a video and send it all out to you on that day. So please, ladies and gentlemen, tell your children or tell whoever is interested in drawing a bird. It would be wonderful. Wonderful. I know there's some budding artists out there. You don't have to draw this bird, but if you choose to, let's see how the imagination flies. Maybe go and draw your favorite bird or the prettiest bird, whatever you'd like. Doesn't matter. And we finally got a lioness in front of us that has stood up. We're wondering what she is going to do. Is that amber eyes? Look at her belly. She is full. It looks like amber eyes. Beautiful lioness. I always recognize her from the size. She's just enormous. Enormous cat. Sorry about my hand there. She's coming in. Going to come as close to us as she sees fit. You see, she's just in front of us there. And her sisters are lying down in the grass here. Let's see what she makes of it. Is she going back to feed? Seems like she might be. She feels like a little bit of leftover kudu. You might hear the noise of another vehicle. We are being joined, I believe, by another game drive, so apologies if there is a bit of audio. Looks like Texan from Tayla. It's a marvelously cool afternoon, folks, and I think the lions are really enjoying. Oh, it's Rexon, actually. Rex. They're coming to have a look at these wonderful vultures and very fat cats. Bless you. Is she feeding there, Ferg? Can you see? I can't see her. I think she's decided to just lie down on the food in case she gets that little snack, you know. I think some of us do that from time to time. We wake up in the middle of the night, we walk to the kitchen, and while we're waiting for the toast or whatever, we have a little bit of a nap. Maybe the effort it took her to walk those 30-odd yards is taken out of her. Now the lioness is coming in from the right. They are not very interested in allowing these vultures anywhere near their meal. And the youngster has stalked and chased them a few times. I wonder what it would do if it caught it. I can't imagine the vulture tastes anything like what a lion would enjoy eating. I can't see what she's got there, Ferg. Can you see? Bless you. Oh, okay. That's what's happening. Someone is defecating. The smell is reaching our nostrils. I think it's this youngster in front of me, Ferg. He's a young boy. Have a look at that. He's just in front of us, just moving around the car. He's definitely had the lion's share. When you look at that belly, it's bulging and fat. He's going to rub heads with Mum. Okay, folks, so we're probably going to move on from these lions shortly, but while we think about our next movements, let's go back over to Tayla with Ellies, who seem to be thirsty.
We have got elephants everywhere in front of Chitwa. Like I always say, imagine enjoying a beverage of sorts on the deck while watching these elephants have a drink, and that is the teeniest tiny elephant. It's still pink behind the ears. I wonder if it's not the same little one we saw the other day with Ali. That was so small, and I reckon probably only a couple of days old. Oh, it's so tiny. It was able to run quite well, actually. I don't think it's new, but it's definitely been, established sort of on its feet now. Oh, look how precious it is. Isn't that just so gorgeous? And that doesn't need to drink water. Good afternoon and welcome to the Sabi Sand Private Game Reserve here in South Africa, where we are surrounded by a herd of elephants. My name is Tayla McCurdy, and on camera with me today is VM, and we're very, very happy to, of course, bring you this live safari. So, for those of you that have never joined us, we welcome you greatly, and all you have to do if you'd like to chat with us is, of course, comment below. Shall we have another look at these elephants? My particular favorite is that teeny tiny little one, which is so adorable, still wobbly on its legs and trying to cower underneath mom. Now this little one doesn't need to drink water just yet. It'll be suckling most of the time. And what a privilege to be able to sit with such a large herd of elephants in such close proximity. There are very, very few places in the world that you can have an elephant experience like this, but South Africa is of course fantastic and offers you many sightings like this. Up here in the Sabi Sand, you know, it's well known for leopard and lion sightings too. They are not just limited to the big pachyderms. And look at all those hippos in the distance too, just behind the elephant. Look at the variety, the diversity of animals that you can see when you come on safari. Now, just going back to that little elephant we saw, Vanessa, I am uncertain to its exact age, that young calf's exact age. I would reckon a couple of days old, as it's still very pink behind the ears. You see that? But it's not too wobbly on its feet. It was actually running. Mom was running down to the water, and that little one was desperately trying to keep up with her. Hello, big girl. I think she wants it to suckle. Look, it's so small it can even fit in between its legs. Now, hugs. It's a hard one to say how many elephants are in South Africa, but in the area that we're in at the moment, there's probably over 10,000 elephants in the greater Kruger area, maybe even a little bit more. I have not seen the latest count as to how many are around here. Hello, big girl. Now, I'm just watching her. Of course, we are safe in these vehicles. You've just got to watch what the animal is doing. That's the most important thing, and luckily for us, all the guides in South Africa are exceptionally well trained, and especially at animal behavior. Hello, big girl. It's okay, just watching what she's doing. I think she's worried about that young calf. Now, Selena, of course, this little elephant is in danger of crocodiles, most certainly. I don't think these elephants are going to cross the dam, though. And this cow doesn't look like she wants to go swimming. And there are a couple of big crocodiles laying out this afternoon at Chitwa. So Mom will be very protective over her young calf from crocodiles, lions, leopards, even big clans of hyenas. But everybody will help this cow. Oh, this is so magical. Now, she might be a little bit nervous too this afternoon because the wind has just picked up, which it typically inhibits the animals from hearing as well as they normally do. And elephants rely heavily on their hearing and their sense of smell. So that wind is going to be swirling and is pushing off of the water and up towards the elephants, so making them panic just a little bit. Now, at the moment, we are currently in autumn, in fact. Also, happy Easter, everybody. And Foxy, you're wondering what is the sort of climate around here? Well, like I said, we're going into autumn now, but the weather's fairly good. So we don't get sort of drastic cold temperatures or anything like that. This is actually a very nice time of the year. The rain would have stopped. The wind does pick up a little bit, but most afternoons are fairly warm. And it looks quite dry at the dam. It's just there's not the greatest soil around the dam and in this area. So there's not a lot of grazing here. But as soon as you move back up into the open grasslands behind us, you'll see the grass is exceptionally tall and there's lots and lots of trees around. So this is typically a savanna woodland biome that we experience, but of course it varies, and that's one of the most amazing things about South Africa is the diversity. Not only do we have the savanna biome up here in the northeastern corner of South Africa, if you go down towards the southeast coast of South Africa, you start to get the Albany thicket, which is vegetation that is so thick even the elephants have trouble negotiating it. And then you go further up the west coast where you get the Cape Floral Kingdom, which you can't really find anywhere else in the world. Very special to find the fynbos species of plants. So not only are there plenty of different animals around here, the vegetation types are just incredible. And along the coastline, it should start to get rainy as we move on into winter too. Well, how amazing was this? To see an entire herd of elephants out and about. Just coming down for a drink of water. I just need to watch this cow very, very carefully. But I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you'd like to carry on watching Safari Live, all you have to do is Google it. And, well, we'll be able to, we'll hopefully join you soon. This cow's a little bit upset. Right. But for myself and VM and the rest of the Safari Live team, thank you for joining. And we'll see you all soon. Easy girl. It's okay. Relax. Relax, relax. Sorry, I'm talking to the elephants like I normally do. I reckon that this cow with the youngest calf, I wouldn't be surprised if she's the matriarch of the herd. She seems to be leading up in the front. She's very nervous. But I don't blame her. When you come to the water's edge with such a teeny tiny calf, there's many dangers here. So it's good to be a little bit cautious, not stopping for a swim, having a quick drink, and then moving on. We probably won't follow them too much. We'd have to go all the way around, but you can see, look how they're all bundled up. They're moving in all sorts of different directions, so they're a little bit uneasy. I think it might be a combination of things. Wind, young calves in amongst this herd. Perhaps some of the cows are stressed. But very cool to see. Nice to see so many elephants again, hey? We definitely came to the dam at the right time. For those of you that are also just joining us, it's great to have you. We do have our rain roof on, so I do apologize for any of the black bars that you do see that come across the screen. It's just in case some of these clouds decide to be a bit more nastier than what they are at the moment. Now they're settling again. Not feeding though. See how they're just all turning, smelling, listening. I wonder if they're going to go to one of the roads that are fairly sandy and have a little bit of a dust bar. Oh no, there we go. Now they're going to demolish that tree at the back. Stretching up very high. Feeding on only the tastiest of leaves. And that's something we've got to look forward to now as we go into winter. As, of course, they're going to be pushing down a lot of the trees. Although, I think, this is the greenest I've ever seen the Sabi sand so late in the year. And for you?
It's very late rain.
Very late rains, yeah, which is nice. See, now they're changing direction again, coming back towards us. So I think maybe we're not going to see the elephants pushing down as many trees as they normally do. For that exact reason, because of the late rains. I do hope we get to see it, because it is quite cool to see them stretching up nice and high. I'm just going to see what they're going to do now. See, they're going backwards and forwards, coming back around us now. They'll probably feel a lot more relaxed because they've got a lot of room. This is so cool. Look how they're all stuck together. Tiva, I don't think the elephants sort of balance with one another. Wait, Bex, can I have that again? This with the whole estrus thing? Sorry, I didn't quite catch the last part of that, or where this was going. Do females somehow balance who is an estrus and who is not, to avoid conflict? So Tiva, no. What you do often find is that animals will sync their estrus cycles, because the little ones have a better chance of survival the more that they are. I'm going to reposition quickly. But with elephants have got a very, very, very good success rate when it comes to raising their youngsters, unlike lions, unlike impala, that are under threat quite often. So they're actually normally okay. But I'm not sure if elephants would actually sync their estrus cycles like impala typically, like the antelope species do. I'll just stop here. Is that fine, Liam? Actually, I suppose we can do front on here. We can do this. Ta-da! There we go. Very nice. All walking up towards the big tall trees. Beautiful. All flapping their ears, not because it's hot, just because there's a whole bunch of flies around at the moment. They've been biting myself and VM this afternoon, so I bet they're being bitten too. Just stopping to feed. It looks like they're actually going from marula tree to marula tree. Maybe they are trying to find the last of the fruits that have fallen, although I feel like they're not going to be so successful this afternoon. I feel like all those fruits are gone. Even I don't think there'll be many nuts underneath the trees anymore because of the squirrels. Very busy collecting them all. Now, as you all know, it isn't just myself and Steve driving around. Tristan has also been out, but I'm not sure what he's looking for. Perhaps he's going to try and find you a leopard or two. Let's go see where he is now.
Well, we're trying to see if we can find one of two leopards, but at the moment there is only signs for Hosana coming slowly in a sort of easterly direction towards Chitwa side and maybe cut north. Can't find any tracks for Tingana at this stage. I was just trying to chat to one of the guys on the southern boundary to see if they could see something or if they could hear something, but unfortunately they don't really know. They said the last tracks that they had were coming our side, so apparently we've got tracks coming into our side, which is good news. They're just telling me on the radio. No, I just gotta make sure I'm on the... Copy that. Thanks very much, Shanae. I'll have a look around here, maybe get lucky. I'll give you a shout if we pick up anything. So Shanae's just telling me that the last track for Hosana cuts into this area onto our side of the property. Let's see. Just having a look around here, because sometimes what will happen is there's a very deep drainage line here, and it's a perfect place for a leopard to spend time. And so Hosana, who's had I suppose a couple of days of bumping into other leopards, is probably, maybe might hide out inside there. Also, it would be a good spot for Tingana, who's a little older, just to kind of go into and just rest. So either one of them could potentially go in this section. So what I want to do is just double check a few little hidey holes and double check maybe up towards Leadwood side, Cheetah Cut Line, just to make sure that they haven't crossed out. And then if there's nothing there, then I'm going to try and kind of have a little look back on those tracks and walk down into the drainage. Let's see. Now this little old hyena den is always a good place to have a little look. There's no tracks going further east at this stage. Let's have a look here. No, nothing there. So it seems as though there's no sign of any leopard kind of coming further east. Maybe in that drainage line is where this leopard is. So while I check around and just double check where it's gone, let's send you back across to Steve, who I think has decided to stay with those 20 cats.
Yes, thanks very much, Tristan. I hope you managed to find Hosana or Tingana, whoever it is whose tail or trail you are following. We do know you are the leopard expert finder, an enormous network of communication that somehow manages to get its way to you on the leopard movements. So I have no doubt Tristan will be fortunate in his endeavors. And here we have one of the beautiful lioness in the golden afternoon light. Isn't that beautiful? You can see the wind has just started to pick up a bit, and two of the lionesses actually moved off, we thought, to maybe go off and drink. But we haven't been able to follow because we are surrounded by lions at the moment. So we thought we might as well stay with the rest of the pride. And if they do get up and also go and quench their thirst, then we would follow. But there's been no other movement. and the one lioness has already returned. So I'm not sure exactly how far away we are from Treehouse Dam, but there are a few puddles and pools in and around, and with the rain we had recently, I'm sure there is suitable water not too far away to quench the thirst of these engorged cats. Look at her, that is, I don't know who that is, but she's too full to sit down. Hello, Vinny. You like to know what is the purpose of the black stripes behind lion ears? Now look at her, she's looking straight at us, and you can't really see her, but when she turns around, the black is very evident. So when lions are moving through the long grass, obviously their vision is black and white, and most other animals out here see black and white. So when the lion's coming from you from the front, their face is almost invisible. The tawny color sort of disappears into the grass. But as they are moving through the grass, their intention, when they are looking in one direction, the intention of those ears indicates exactly where they're looking, and it's a silent communication that all of those following behind can also pay attention to see which individual wildebeest or impala or zebra has that one picked out, and then they can assist in basically moving in and tackling the same prize. So from behind, the eyes and the black tail are very, very obvious to any lion that's following, but from the front, not so much. I hope that answers your question. Same as for leopards, but that's the white tip on the tail is for the cub to follow through the long grass. So I hope everybody is having a marvelous Easter out there, and I'm sure there's lots of chocolate being eaten, not just by Tayla or Tristan. Hopefully no one's gorging themselves on chocolate the way these lions have gorged themselves on Kudu. Hello, Hope, age 10. You ask a very interesting question. Do lions have predators? And the answer to that, Hope, is that lions are the apex predator here in the savanna biome, which means they are the top predator. But that doesn't mean that they are the best. It means that they are at the top and they need to stay there. But the biggest competitor for lions is other lions. So large prides of lions will have competition with each other. Large males will compete with each other. But then any other predator, be it lion, be it hyena, be it leopard, will always try and kill the cubs of another predator if they come across it, or the individual itself. Many occasions of cheetah being killed by a lion, by leopard, hyena killing anyone that they can, wild dogs being killed. We've documented wild dog being killed by a lioness. Hyenas will actively kill the cubs of lions. Male lions will kill the cubs of other male lions. There's lots of reasons for this. Most of it is to do with competition. So it's a very, very interesting question. But yeah, there's huge competition out here, not just between the lion prides, but between the other predators, such as cheetah, even large eagles, even puff adders, or snakes, should I say, like the python has been known to swallow small baby cats, like a leopard, for example. Very sad, but it is the way things work out here, and it is how the system continues to perpetuate itself. So, should we have a look on this side? Are there anything else going on with these lions? I don't think so, Ferg. There we go, just in time. It sits up. Hello, we called that one. They haven't been doing too much movement. The kudu is practically just some bones there, and he's cuddling with his little teddy bear. Believe it or not, there is the remains of a kudu behind that patch of grass. And if I maybe go forward a touch, you might be able to see just the horn just through the bushes there. Maybe a little quiz for all of those of you out there who love to watch this show and spend time with us. You know I enjoy my trees. Who can tell me what tree that is above the lion or above the kudu horn? Here we go. That one right there, Ferg, yeah. I wonder if anyone can tell us what it is. Very characteristic little red spots on the leaflets. And I'm sure many of you out there have seen this before. I have spoken about it at length. Elephants absolutely love them, and they make very good furniture if you can get big enough specimens. But in this case, or in the case here in Juma, or the Sabi Sands, the elephants eat them before they get any substantial size. So I wonder how many of you out there are into your trees this morning or this afternoon. Tell me what tree that is right there. And it is not just for camouflaging the kudu. It provides a small amount of shade. A very palatable tree. So how old do you reckon that kudu bull was, Ferg? Probably about 5 to 6. My pleasure, Hope. Please keep sending your questions through. Anything else we can answer for you would be fantastic. So that kudu is definitely a male. As everybody knows, the kudu, male and female, the sexual dimorphism, difference between male and female is males have horns and females don't. There's a slight stockiness in the male as well. And the spiralness of the horns there, see, it's a fully mature male. The tip of the horn has got that ivory tip to it. So this is a fully mature breeding male. Very difficult for kudu. We talk a lot about impala and a lot of other antelope out here, but kudu, when the males die, it takes quite a long time. I can't give you an exact number, but the death of a male, especially a prime breeding male, really does impact on the breeding of the females. They don't just take another male like the impalas do. Impala males going through their rutting, the females could see through many, many males during the breeding season, and it doesn't seem to affect their sort of strategy. But when a male kudu is removed from the population, it almost takes the females, I don't know how long, I need to work on that number, but it is a big dent in their population growth. So it's definitely something that they talk about out there, about managing populations. You need to make sure that you don't remove large breeding bulls from a population if you can. Monique wants to know when they killed this kudu, and by the look of it, it was probably last night. But I wasn't here to see it, and I didn't get too much of an update. So I'm sorry, I don't know, but I'm sure some of the viewers out there who've been watching closely have got the answers to that for Monique. By the state of the lions' bellies and by the fact that they're still here, to me means that it was made early this morning or late last night. But then I did not see it, Monique, so I'm sorry. I wonder if you folks can hear the breathing now, the panting of that cat. Oh, sorry about that. I can hear it. I can almost feel it. The power of I can only count 10 lions here, but the power of the breathing in the stillness. The wind has dropped again. So there's suddenly a nice stillness around, and just the odd flap of vultures taking off and landing. As we said before, the hooded vulture being the smallest and always the best indicator of finding meat, and the only vulture who gets too close to lions, because most of the other vultures, being as big as they are, they're not able to jump out of the way of the stalking cats that would rather pull it down to the ground and kill it. So the hooded vultures do quite well. They are quite nimble and quite easily, or much easier than the other larger birds in getting a little bit of flight and to get away from the lions. But I'm still loving how green it is here. I know, being away, I didn't go too far. I only went about an hour away to a place I'm now renting near Hoedspruit. And we had some rain in the last 10 days, and you can tell by the greenery around that definitely going really, really well. Nice and green. P. Hart thinks the tree is a leadwood. It is not a leadwood. And Rory, it is not a torchwood. Unfortunately, no, those are incorrect. If you go in on that exact leaf there, can you see those little red spots on the leaf? Very red spots. It's very characteristic of this plant. Judy, of course you've got it. It is a round leaf teak, also known as a bloodwood. and quite easy to remember when you think of bloodwood, because it almost looks like there's some blood spoor on the leaf. Drips of blood of an animal maybe passing by that seem to stain the leaf, that red spot. And it is indeed a teak, Pterocarpus rotundifolia, nice round leaf. And the pod resembles a wing. Very nice. Thank you, Judy, for the quiz. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have some very flat cats this afternoon. We're probably going to leave them in the next few moments. Go see if we can find you anything else of interest. So, let's go over to Tayla, who looks like she's on another planet altogether.
I can sort of hear you, Bex. I know you've said live. We're just trying to find a gap here. Oh, what about that gap? Yes. It's hard, but we're at the nest where the barn owls are supposedly, but we can't see anything just yet at the moment. A very dark little tunnel in there, isn't it? That's crazy. I'm listening. I can hear a pearl-spotted owlet calling now. Doesn't look like anybody's home, sadly, but we just thought we'd want to come and have a look. I hope that is the right hole, hey, VM? Yeah. VM has been here before. I haven't. I think it might be a little bit too early in the day, maybe a little bit later when the adults, just before the adults start to get a bit more active. Perhaps we'll get a chance and get lucky. But, I mean, I can't see anything in there. You can just see a bit of feces sort of at the entrance, which is normal, and just shows us that it's active. Okay, well, we'll try later. We'll come back and we'll have a little look. Now I'm going to try and get out of here. We might have to sneak here, VM. I think I'm going to do a sneaky. Oi! Because I also don't have comms with Bex, so let's move on along. Now, I'm very traumatized. Oh, Hyena. That was a bit sore. Let's not get eaten by the thorns. Yeah! So, obviously, you know Maurice had a piercing on his nose. If there are any youngsters out there that are under the age of 18, unfortunately, you're not allowed to have any piercings. You don't need them. You're fine without them. I just wanted to make that clear. So don't be asking mom and dad for piercings now because Maurice the elephant has one. He's an elephant, of course. The elephants are allowed to do what they like. Because, you know, who's going to stop an elephant? He's big. He could just squash me. It was also a clip-on one. You're quite right, Rebecca. Look. Goes like this, from my hand onto his trunk. So you can have one of those. You can have a clip-on nose ring. You can't be having a real one. I'm also trying to drive. Maurice, you're getting a lot of attention today, my boy. Off he goes. Oh no, because I'm going to lose that and then I'll be upset if that's lost. We'll put that back on. So we bumped into Sheldon from Chat with Chitwa. We had a little chat to him. And he says he's been watching that young little elephant fall over its feet for the past few days. He's been quite entertaining. So that happened. And then I also got an update from him, and he said that one of the Arathusa guards, Roy, actually saw leopard tracks crossing south into Little Gowrie from Twin Dam. So I don't know who had crossed the road. It could have been Tingana. It could have also been Hosana. And she said to him, I was like, well, that makes sense, because there were a couple of knob-billed ducks, the females, that normally live at Baboon Pan, which is the sort of pans on the opposite side of the road from Twin Dams, and they were now in Twin Dams. And they don't normally swim around there, they're normally on the other side. So that makes a lot of sense that a leopard cat went strolling on through. I suppose we can say we can say hello to that impala very briefly. Hello, impala. How are you? Not interested. Showing us his bottom. That is how uninterested he is in us today. He just wants to eat. Eat, eat, eat. Isn't that lovely? Beautiful animals. Overlooked. Definitely one of the most overlooked animal species we get here in Africa. Equipped with beautiful fighting horns. Lovely ears. Big black eyes. They've got beady eyes. Well, not beady as in small, but sort of a colour. And just keeping an eye out. I think we're going to see quite a few animals coming out into the open. Especially tonight. with all the clouds, with all the wind. Quarantine is going to be bustling this afternoon. You can see it's a bit miserable out there. Ooh, who we got? A saddle-billed stork. Well done, VM. Very nice. Just getting lost behind the trees. A bird that I have not seen for a very, very long time. I wonder where it's going to go and land, or if it is going to go and land. Shall we go around and see if we can find it again? Let's Ferrari safari to the saddle-billed stork. Right, I've got to get in the right gear. Whee! I can still see the stork flying in the distance, so we're going to race on after it and see if we can find out where it's going to land. It's changed directions, going south now. Tristan is still on a search for leopards. Hopefully he's that much closer.
Well, we are searching, and we've got tracks for Husana that's just going all over the place, up and down, kind of back and forth. And the last track I had was on Leadwood Road, kind of going east towards the Torchwood cut line, but I don't see anything crossing out, so I'm just trying to do a few loops around. I've just come up towards Mumba using Drakensberg, and now I'm going back towards Cheetah cut line just to make 100% sure he hasn't crossed out. But he seems as though he's been a busy boy, given that he was seen at 12 o'clock, which is not that long ago. He's walked quite far. He's gone all the way up Gowrie Main, he went up Cheetah cut line for a bit, then he cut towards Leadwood, then from Leadwood he went back towards Cheetah cut line, so he's kind of seems to be moving quite fast, and we know how he is. He can be difficult when he goes round and round in circles, as he was the other day in exactly the same area that we're in now, where he was kind of moving about all over the show. So I'm just double checking to make sure he hasn't crossed out of our area, because if he's crossed out of our area, obviously then it's going to be very difficult to find him, because we can't go there. So I'm just having a little look around. Now it sounds like Tingana has been found somewhere in little Gowrie, Chitwa area, so I don't know if maybe Tayla can get hold of the guys on the radio, but it sounds like maybe he's on that side at the moment. So he went from the elephant carcass southwards and back into little Gowrie, whereas it seems though Husana came up northwards towards our side, which is interesting. So I'm sure it's Tingana, and it's obviously he's kind of just trying to go away from him. Good. Now I believe Steve left his lines, but has bumped into, well, one of the Nkumas having a little drink.
Coming here, Ferg. And you're back with us, folks, and we just moved out of the sighting, and as we anticipated, one of the females is here drinking. So we were going the other way, and Texan, he was on his way to the lions, and he called us. Okay, we're going to go quickly over to Tayla, who's got some interesting activity.
Right, look what we've got. I'm just trying to get us in a good spot. Sorry, Vim, our hyena friend is moving, and the roof makes it exceptionally difficult. So we heard an impala alarming, and it said to Vim, I don't know if those impala are telling a story. Actually, have a little listen, you can hear them, and then that hyena's going to pop out here. Yeah, everybody is very upset. Not just the impala. There's some crowned lapwings. There's some squirrels. Now, I don't know about anybody else. When I first saw this hyena, the squirrel's very angry. It looks like, you know, anybody watching Harry Potter? Not Harry's uncle, the teacher. He turns into a werewolf. I don't know why this hyena kind of looks like that to me. That's what first popped into my mind this afternoon. Off it goes, wandering down the road. Looks quite scraggly, quite thin. I wonder if it is a male. It does look like a male. It doesn't look massive. Maybe some of you recognize it. You can let us know. Look at the way it's kicking up dust, barely picking its feet up. That's beautiful. We'll watch it as it disappears, and then I'm going to show you the squirrels because they're quite funny. And I feel like they've forgotten that we're here. In here, hornbills also shouting now. Everybody's shouting. Check them, right on the edge of this termite mound. Just up there. There's a little squirrel. That was the one that you could hear that was shouting. It's now stopped though. Hello. You're frozen. Terrified. They've also got big eyes in relation to their head, don't you think, the squirrels? There's one that's shouting in the distance. This one's now not worried anymore. It was only cross when that hyena came close to its termite mound. I'm pretty sure it's the same family of squirrels I've showed you before that live up on a marula tree and then often come and warm themselves on this termite mound. Very cool. I wonder where the hyena's going. We can go and see if we can find it again. Impala is still shouting every now and then. Hyenas hunt so often in the Sabi sand, they normally hunt kudu. That's what I noticed they were feeding on most down in the south, and it was we'd often very quickly get a reaction. Now, oh, here it is again. Let's have another look. Does look like there's something funny with this hyena, doesn't there? Oh, don't go around the corner. We'll have to catch up to it again. Something doesn't quite look out of place, and I think you've all said you agreed. I mean, that could have been a battle with another clan of hyenas. That could have been from a lion, maybe taking a swipe, dislocating it. It's got a slight limp, but it just keeps going around the bend. You see that on the left-hand side there? Might also just be very thin as well. It doesn't look like it's got much muscle around its back end. And hyenas are not sort of scrawny looking animals. They're definitely well built. I think, we're going to do a maneuver. Hold on. I want to try and get in front of that hyena again. I'm going to sneak around, but in order to do that, we're going to go a little bit quickly. I don't know if we're going to catch it or not. Wait, I just don't want to put too much pressure on it from behind. Hold on, VM. We're going fast. My favorite thing in the whole wide world. Meow. Now, when hyenas communicate with one another, I'm going to keep my eyes on the road because I'm driving a little bit quicker than I normally would. Just by their call, whether it's a rumbling sound or the laughing sound, we'll be able to tell other hyenas in the area whether they're male or female or social status, whether they're high-ranking, low-ranking, all these different types of things, whether they're in distress, whether they found something to eat, whether they're trying to locate the rest of their clan. So, yes, First Lady, you're quite correct in saying, depending, well, we can't really necessarily tell the difference, but the hyenas will be able to tell that there's an elephant that's just popped up in the road as well. Might run into a bit of trouble, this hyena, with the elephants. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to that hyena, though. The road's a little bit further. No, it's actually... Is it here? Yeah, it is here. Hi, guys. It's the same herd we saw earlier. Let's see if we can see the hyena. We'll keep an eye out on all of the situations. So there's the road. This is theoretically where the hyena should be popping out. And it wasn't necessarily sort of racing on down that road. It was moving relatively slowly. So there's the rest of the elephants come out from the drainage line now. And we'll have a quick view of them, and then I'll go back up this road, and hopefully we will pick up on that hyena again, just to have a further inspection. It'd be nice to see it from front on. Let's do that. Let us do that. Okay. Just don't want to scare it either. Even though it is a hyena, it'll probably move off of the road. We can see that there's something not quite right with it. So I do want to give it room and make it feel comfortable. So we'll just go slowly now. No need to race like we were. We could have also taken an animal pathway though. So I'll keep searching all the way around. Some of these animal pathways are so wide. I mean, there's a lot of hippo movement around here. And they create, well, they've got a very wide berth, as we've seen, which does create quite a nice pathway for the animals to move around on, other than just utilizing the roads. We'll check here at this intersection for tracks. It could have also gone to the right. Okay, well, I'm going to try and track this hyena and figure out which way it's gone. It seems as though Tristan's doing the same thing, but he's found the tracks of some animal.
Well, I'm not tracking a hyena, I am tracking a leopard, and there you can see the footprint for Hosanna, and they have crossed into Torchwood, so there's not much more I can do from where we are. These are the last tracks going along the road and then just kind of going across in front of me on a little pathway and deeper into Torchwood and away from us, unfortunately. But it's not the end of the world, because Hosanna often does this, where he kind of crosses in and out and goes on the cut line, and he's already walked on this cut line once and then came in and then he's going out again. So let's just keep up on the cut line, and you never know, maybe we'll have him coming back out somewhere up ahead of us. But he basically just went straight across, and there's this little kind of path you can see there in the grass. There's a sort of cut line, and that's where he just goes straight through and into Torchwood itself. But let's just double check. You never know, maybe we'll get lucky. Unfortunately though, he's walked quite far, much further than I originally thought he had walked, and so that's that, I'm afraid. It's a bit of a shame, really. You think out of 2 different leopards that were on the property at lunchtime, we would have had one, but alas, seems as though both of them have decided to vacate for the afternoon safari, which is okay. Maybe they're on the hunt for their eggs. That's why they're moving about as much as they are. Now, while I'm driving along, I want to try and just have a little look in all these trees and all of these kind of termite mounds, just in case there is a leopard lurking somewhere here. Now, while I do that, let's send you back across to Steve. I'm not sure where he is at the moment, but I'm sure whatever he's doing, it will be entertaining.
Yes, thanks, Tristan. We moved off from that lioness, and as soon as you cut away from us, she finished her drinking and then moved back to the very smelly area of that Kudu kill. And we have come along, and we have found family, maybe of that male. Whole bunch of ladies and offspring. They kind of look quite solemn in their expression. I wonder if they know what's transpired, but I haven't seen the male with them yet. It's the notorious red-billed oxpecker doing its deed on the ears. A little bit of grooming going on. You can see the oxpecker on the right now. There's a juvenile just gone out of picture. But a beautiful little family there. I wonder if they know what awaits them only a kilometre or 2 away. Best to not go in that direction, ladies. Okay, well, folks, let's go back to Tayla, who's managed to relocate on her hyena.
We did. It was just patiently waiting in the road. Now, it seems to be smelling something off to the south, but I think it is also listening to the herd of elephants behind us. I don't think this hyena would want to run into any trouble, but a very tattered ear, which is another indication that it is fairly low ranking. Like I said, I think it's a male, just from looking at it. Like I said, not particularly big and bulky like the girls normally are. Now, the thing that's interesting about hyenas is the fact that the females are bigger than the males. We typically see this with birds and often in reptiles, with snakes, but you don't normally see it with mammals. So, yes, Peter, the female hyenas do produce, well, they've got higher levels of testosterone than sort of the normal levels of testosterone that you'd find in any female animal. And this, of course, gives them that extra bulk, which is quite cool. I find it very difficult to tell the difference between the sexes. It's obviously very easy when you see a female that's lactating. Otherwise, from the outside and from a distance, the appendages look fairly similar. There you go, something's caught its attention. I think it's still the elephants, because even I can just hear the elephants feeding now. You won't be able to hear it, unfortunately. Just feeding gently. It looks like it needs a meal. Now, unfortunately, the male hyenas don't play much of a role in the clan. It is a matriarchal system. So, was it Daniel? I think Daniel. Sorry, Bex. David, close. We were going to get there. That was going to be my next guess. Sorry, David. So, no, the males don't play a role. I wonder if maybe it could be hunting. Maybe it's going to catch a scrub hare or something like that. Doesn't seem to mind us too much. So even the males that come into a clan that are sort of fairly well known by the dominant females, well, they're not treated as well as she would treat her daughter. They probably bully them a little bit. So when they come into contact with other females from a different clan that they maybe don't see, yes. Hyenas are not the most welcoming animals to other clans of hyenas. They definitely do stand their ground and put up a bit of a fight. I think Brent or Scott that got to see that most amazing clan war in the Mara? That was insane. Never seen anything like that before. Seen this very small mini clan war, if you will, once at Sambi Sabi around a hippo carcass. So he's very keen about something. We'll follow it and see what it's going to do towards the elephants. So we will go around and have a look. And like I said to you earlier, kudu are something that hyenas love to hunt in the Sabi sand, and that's what Steve's got.
Yes, we're still with this bunch, and they are quite relaxed considering. I mean, most of the time we spend with kudus out here, they're not that relaxed. Eloise, you answering a question I'm not too sure. I know that it takes some time. I need to have a look. She wants to know how long will it take a herd to get a new bull. I need to double check it. I don't have my facts 100% with me at the moment, but I do know that it is quite sensitive. The females are quite picky when it comes to their mating males, and they won't pick the next one that comes along. He'll have to prove himself. They have to go through all sorts of rites and rituals, so to speak, in the kudu world, and dominating and fighting other males before he'll be allowed into the breeding. But how long exactly, I do not know. But it's a small family unit here, no young males, which is quite rare, I think, to see a group of that many without any. Child of Universe, what an interesting name. You'd like to know how many females will a kudu bull have? That is a very good question. You can often get between 4 and maybe about 7. I think that's probably about the average. It's possible in areas of higher resources there might be more females, but then what you see here is the offspring as well. So 2-3 years worth of offspring, maybe even 4 years when it comes to females, and then the males at like 3 or so are pushed out of the herd as they don't serve any purpose to the male. And so he will service the selection of females and maybe even eventually some of his daughters, but ideally not. They should move off into the harems of other males. But that is why the breeding, and males, when they are breeding, they're only breeding for about 3 to 4 years at the most. So generally by the time that their offspring, females, are ready for mating, they have either died or been outcompeted when it comes to a breeding herd. So the dynamics are quite stressful for the kudu. As I said before, the impala seem to just carry on as normal, but it does affect them. And look at how their camouflage behind those bushes, that herd of however many that was, have just vanished, which is exactly what their camouflage is made to do. And it's why they stand very still. They weren't standing very still, and even though they were moving, we still lost them. So what we call disruptive markings. The markings on the side almost blend in with the trees themselves. The mane of fur on the back also changes the body shape. So if you look at, for example, a solid structure, it's got an actual line to it. But if you put a mane of hair on it, it breaks up that line. Just very camouflage. And also the spots on the face and the line between the eyes changes that whole appearance of that beautiful, beautiful animal. Okay, so we're going to continue on doing something quite similar to Tristan. We're checking little bits of water holes and also looking up every tree and on every termite mound. I would love to see a leopard on my first drive back in the Sabi Sands. As I was leaving my new accommodation yesterday, where I live close to Hoedspruit, a female leopard jumped in front of the car and tried to hunt a squirrel. I was like, yes! I was so excited because I've just moved to a place which is very remote. It's in the bush. It's not far from Hoedspruit. It's kind of in a very similar area to this, except it's not open to the national park. It's a fenced area. There's definitely animals there. I saw some leopard tracks. Beautiful birding, beautiful activity. no leopards or no lions in the area. You can hear them from Klesiri to the north and Simbavati to the south. But seeing a leopard, oh, what do we got? Similar plans, I believe Tristan has got. I wonder, Bex, if you would still like to go to Tristan, because you've just spotted ourselves one of the big five, a big elephant. How beautiful that is. Looks like a nice, relaxed male. Let's see. Oh, two. Let's go a little bit further and see if their behavior changes. We obviously don't want to influence their behavior. So by watching them feed gently like that, tails are wagging, they're very relaxed. So edge the car close until some form of behavior changes. Still no change. There's at least three. There's a fourth one. It's a breeding herd. This is a young bull here in front. Still no change in the behavior. That's marvelous. We'll stop there. Ah, wonderful. It's a breeding herd. Definitely some more down in the river depression here, the dry riverbed. And off to our right, we are surrounded. And there is a very small baby coming up that side. Oh, just in front of that one. And there's another one. Oh no, there's two babies there. This is a very nice welcome back for me. I absolutely love elephants. I think I just said them. We don't get elephant where I live. And so they showed themselves to me. But to carry on that story I was saying, it's amazing to know that even in the place I'm living now, there are still leopards. Leopards all over the place, very resilient cats, very able to adapt and to live in areas where other large predators don't seem to manage. But look at him. If you look at the classic elephant behavior there, its eyes were quite wide as it was surveying us and trying to figure out what threat we are to the environment or to the herd safety. And it is a very good characteristic. It is a young boy, as you can see. He's providing us with his fifth leg there. Lion bugle. Google, you want to know if adult elephants sleep standing up? And they can. They can lean against a tree. They can stand on just their feet, cross two legs over the other. Quite often they will lean up against dry river beds or banks, termite mounds. Lying down flat on the ground does put a lot of pressure on their lungs. So that is something that they do pay attention to. But I've seen fully grown male elephants lying down flat on the ground. So it's not that they don't do it, it's just that they don't do it all the time. And they only do it for about maybe 15 to 20 minutes or so at a time. I remember when I lived in the Northern Kruger, in my tented camp for wilderness up in Pafuri, often had an elephant that would come and sleep very close to camp and sleep on the termite mound. We'd go and find the tracks in the morning. And what was quite incredible was that it snored. The noise that it came from its trunk as it slept was, yes, it was very nice to hear, but quite annoying at 2:30 in the morning when you've got to wake up in a few hours for a game walk. But it was quite something to see. And I actually tracked and had a look at all the tracks. Yeah, we've got one coming out of the river here, Ferg. He's looking like he's going to show us some fun. A little youngster. And I actually looked at the tracks on that termite mound that it had been sleeping on. You could see where the legs lie and where the feet were and exactly where the trunk was. You could actually see where the air was coming in and out of the trunk. There was still sort of moisture, sort of spittle stains on the soil. Here we go. Look at that. Here he comes. Ooh, I'm dangerous. Look how big I am. Here we go. Do you see the tail is up, the head is up, the eyes are very wide open. Pisces, I love the hugeness of their ears too. There's little youngsters coming again. Come on, make a noise. I just love how silly they can be. Okay, folks, well, we're going to stay with these dailies a little while longer and see what happens, but we go back to Tayla, who's still with her spotted hyena.
No, sadly, that's what I was about to tell Rebecca, is that he is on the move and heading on off of Chitwa. So sadly, we can't follow him anymore. Man, I don't know what he wants to do, though. I don't know. He's stopping and listening. Maybe he's waiting to hear the distress call of an animal. You know, as a leopard catches a steenbok or a daken, he's going to race on in and steal it. Who knows? Now, I don't know how many male hyenas are normally in a clan ragu. We typically don't even see them around the den site, so it's normally quite difficult to say. The only time we might see an entire clan together is like at a carcass when they're feeding, but then even then, because of the different ranking systems, some of them have to wait off at the side and can only come off at the end. And you don't often see too many males around the den site. Occasionally you'll see a few, so it's quite hard to tell, in fact. I mean, like the Mara, those clans of hyenas, average size was between 50 and 70, and there were some exceptional clans that were over 150. And it's very difficult to tell what's going on, but majority of the members of the clan will indeed be female. It will only be it's not going to be an even or a close match, as far as I understand. Oh, Mac, it's exceptionally difficult for female hyenas to give birth. And that's, of course, because of this, the elongated, the clitoris. We can go down to that. As you know, oh, there's dwarf mongoose here. We'll see if we can get them. Oh, yeah, I think they're going home. Let's see if any more of them are going to run across the road. So they've got this very sort of narrow canal that the youngsters are born. Now, hyenas normally only have 2 cubs. Most of the time, it's even just 1. And, sure. It can kill the female. Those youngsters can get trapped inside that sort of chamber. It's obviously, like we said, it's very narrow, very difficult for them to come out. And if the youngster gets stuck, the female will most certainly die too. Sometimes they suffocate on their way out. So it's a very, very difficult process. I've never seen that. I've never even seen mating hyenas before. Very, very rare to come across that. Right, little mongoose. We'll see if we can see them here, but the grass is quite long. I can hear them. Very high-pitched sort of squeaks. No. Difficult to see, Avian. I think a bit too difficult. In fact, no, the grass is long now. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. I don't know what we're going to go and do now. Perhaps we'll start heading towards the dam. Ooh. Eloise, let me see if I can find you a hyena track. These roads have been driven up and down quite a few times, so we might not see one. Let me just put my head to the floor. We'll have to go. We can go back up to where we first had it. Let's do that quickly. Oh, sorry, Wendy. Meow. And then we'll see if we can have a look. A nice clear one. I think even with the wind that we've had today, one of those fresh tracks will be slightly disturbed. We've just got to go up a little bit ahead. So just bear with us. Whoop, up we go. And we got to go around one corner. And then we'll be there. Actually, we should see on this junction right here. We don't even need to go around the corner. Okay, now we got to start looking. We also might lose the roof. Doesn't sound too stable today. Okay, so it went down that way over here. Right, let's water back. Okay, here we go. We've got them, but they just, you know, they're so fresh, you can barely see them. Actually, we're going to need the softer sand. Here, the sand is so fine. Okay. You know what? I don't think that any of these tracks are going to work, unfortunately, because the sand is so fine. And those tracks are really fresh and the light's not great. So we'll go try and find some older hyena tracks on the airstrip that are in the, maybe from the wet sand from last night. And we're going to head back that way, which is a little bit of a drive. So while we go and find some hyena tracks, off we go back to Tristan.
I might have a beard, but my name is not Tristan. It is Steve. Although many of you viewers out there think Scott, myself, and Tristan are actually triplets. Maybe we should take a photo together to show you all that we are not. So we've been with this herd. They've moved across the road. Let me just try back up a bit, see if we can get another look at them as they slowly meander into the evening, the setting sun. No, off they go. We seem to have lost sight of them, but that's okay. It always is a marvel to me how the elephants can behave like the kudu and just disappear into the thickets, the ghosts of the night.
Now, it seems as though Steve is unfortunately experiencing a few of the gremlin issues that we have had in recent times, and so hopefully he'll get rid of them and shake them off so that he can carry on viewing those elephants that he was loving so much. Steve's had a good drive back. I feel like I've seen absolutely nothing, and he's had ellies and he's had lions, which is, I suppose, nice. It's always nice when you have a good drive back. And hopefully our luck will change at some point soon as well. We haven't found any other animals at all. We've done Quarry Pan, we've done Buffelshoek Dam, checked around there was tracks for Hukamuri from 2 days ago, but that's about it. There's really not very much else at all. Nancy, in terms of the temperature and how warm it is right now, I'm not quite sure. It's not very warm this evening. It's not as warm as it has been over the course of the last few days. So I would hazard a guess at, I reckon it's about 20, 25, 26, somewhere there. I suppose there's a bit of wind chill, so I'm going to actually readjust. Let's say 27 degrees Celsius, which would be what? That would be close to 70 something Fahrenheit, I think. 70, about 70 or 80 Fahrenheit, somewhere there. That's what it feels like at the moment, but I'm not sure. Maybe Rebecca can give me an accurate reading from our weather station and tell me exactly what the temperature is. Apparently it's being refreshed. Let's see. Now I'm stopping because I can hear a squirrel alarm calling. And the squirrel is alarm calling to my right hand side at the moment, but I don't see anything. Of course, squirrels are not always the best indicator of a predator being around that is, easy to see. Sometimes they will alarm call. They will alarm call for predators like snakes that are in this kind of grass. They're going to be near impossible to see, so we're not going to have much luck there. Now, apparently my thermometer is way out. I was saying 26, 27. That was, what did I say? 26, 27, somewhere there. Hey, Rebecca. But it's apparently 22, 72 degrees in currently right this second, and that's, I suppose, a little bit cooler than what I thought. I thought it was a bit warmer than that, but there is a little sneaky kind of cool breeze, so it's not surprising that there is that temperature. I suppose I just feel like it's warmer than it was this morning at some point. Although I was on a walk this morning and it was still a bit kind of sticky and humid this morning, whereas this evening it's got a little bit more of a cool feel to it. So, no, Rebecca, Rusty's fine. Rusty just sounds that way. Rebecca thinks Rusty might die. Rusty is not dying, don't worry, it's okay. It's all good, it's just sounds a little different to Jigger and Wendy, but it sounds perfectly fine to me. It's the normal kind of Rusty. It's got a very kind of loud fan, if you want to call it that. Now, there's some tracks here that I just want to have a look at quickly. Those would be tracks for what looks like Brent and Rexon from the other day when they were walking. So we don't need Brent and Rexon tracks, although tracking Brent would be very difficult because that's a man that has ants in his little pants and so often is all over the place, back and forth, around and about. So I think he would be a hard human to track. I'm not sure actually who would be the hardest human in our crew to track. What do you think, Rebecca? I think Brent would be one because he's so hyperactive that he just walks around all over the place. Rebecca likes to go running a lot, so she would be very she would be very difficult to follow. Rebecca says Tayla because Tayla falls everywhere, so the tracks would just be constantly kind of going and then just be flat human print, and then you'd have to find out where she kind of walked from there. So there'd also be coffee all over the place that would wash the tracks away, that would make it quite difficult to follow exactly where she goes. So Tayla would be quite tough, I would imagine, as well. And Scotty D would be the other tough one, because also Scott's like Brent, pretty hyperactive fella and is always up and down and around and all over the place, and then in a car, out the car, all around this area. So I think he would be harder to track than maybe even Brent, which is saying something. What do you think, Craig? Craig would actually be probably the hardest, given that he hangs upside down every day. He would have to lose his tracks, although I suppose he would walk to the point where he would hang upside down and go into his little cave where he spends the daylight hours and then just comes out for the game drives. What do you think, Craig? Maybe, you reckon? Conrad would also be another one, because Conrad also walks all over the place. You're right. Well done, Craig. You see, you're a thinker. That's why I like spending time with you, Craig. Craig actually today was the one that solved our audio problem that our comms problem, should I say. My earpiece connection jack wasn't working, and Conrad came and we tried and we fiddled, and then eventually Craig, who keeps this all a secret and hidden, I don't know why, but he's pretty good with technical things and even cars themselves, and he doesn't really say much about it, but then Craig came to the rescue and he fixed the earpiece, and that's what's allowed me to be on game drive this afternoon and in Rusty, and will allow us to use Rusty going forward. So well done, Craig. Round of applause. There we go. We gave Craig a good round of applause. That was a Wimbledon clap. If you've ever watched the tennis in Wimbledon, that's how they clap. You know, it's very prim and proper, because one is in Wimbledon Tennis Club. It's actually Queen's. Isn't it Queen's Tennis Club? No, that's the Queen's Tournament. What's it called again? I forget the name now, but they clap like this, very kind of, you know, what, and got to make sure that you clap prim and proper. And now I see tracks for a leopard here as well. Hang on a second. This might be actually Hosanna's tracks coming back again. I just want to double check these quickly in a nice area, because we had a bit of rain during the day today, and if there's no spots of rain on top, then these tracks will be quite fresh. No, where are you, tracks? I don't see you anymore. Where have you gone? There they are there. So it doesn't look like there's any rain on top of them. Just trying to find a nice kind of clean one. Here we go. Now I just want to have a quick check of them. It's difficult for you to see, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I've parked very badly. But they look like they might not have any rain on them. They're very, very kind of soft. There's no crustiness to the track, and when you have a bit of rain like we had this morning, the road gets a little harder and it gets like a little crust on it, and so when you touch it, it kind of doesn't give away. When it's fresh and you touch it, that whole sand just crumbles away and it's very, very soft. So these actually don't look too bad. I'll have a look around for these. They go back in the direction I've just came, which is interesting. So while I try and kind of have a look at these and check what they do, let's send you back across to Tayla, who I believe is taking off at Chitwa Airstrip.
We've actually just put a halt to our takeoff, because we thought we'd appreciate a moment with the impala and the beautiful sunset, which is just in the distance. It's so stunning here. Like I said, everybody's going to be coming out into the open, and that's exactly what the impala are doing. I forget that it's not two impala and one pala. Ah, goodness, what is wrong with me? Actually, don't comment, because the list will be very long. So lovely herd of impala. Oh my goodness, must be about 150 of them around here, easy. Huge gatherings at the moment as the rutting season gears up. All the females coming together. Hey, maybe they're all looking for their suitors to see who the contenders are going to be this year for 2018 rutting season. Who knows? All casually crossing the airstrip. Can see we're just surrounded by them at the moment. If the cameras could go around 360 degrees, you'd just see impala everywhere. Look at that. It's never ending. There's our black bar again. Of course, we've got the roofs on. Another one. Some centers. Some more. Oh, look. Oh, what a surprise. More impala. That's beautiful, though. Very peaceful out here, too. I think it's going to be a little bit chilly tonight. Well, I'm feeling a bit on the cold side. Right, Vian? Seat belts on, please. Right. Is it fastened? Tray tables up in the upright position. Yes, VM, no, he's obviously flown a few times, as you can see, because we are about to take off. Okay, right, let me show you where the... I've got a thorn in my shoe. That was unpleasant. Have to replug myself in. You ready for this? This is ridiculous. Right. One of those air hostesses. I'm very untidy to be an air hostess, though, however, and I do not have my hair. I need to do the bun, hey, because they always have their hair in a bun, so I could do that. Just stick that in. I have got long hair, so we can just actually stick the tail in my hat, sort of. I need the scarfy thing. Hang on. How does it go, Via? Does it just go around? It's not very neat, though. This is a book. Rebecca has to tell me to not say things out loud, otherwise I'll just say them. Okay. Does that look fine, Bea? What else do I need? Okay, are you ready? Because, you know, they smile. They're ridiculous. Biggest smiles you've ever seen in your life. I don't know who would want to be that excited. I'm excited about what I do. This is cool. Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard your flight, the 2168595 Boeing 73800. And my name is Tayla, and I'm the chief hostess this evening, and I'll be, helping you attend to any of your needs. Flying the plane this afternoon is Captain Dr. VM, because, you know, he's also got a medical degree. I don't want to do this anymore. Right, let's do emergency exits. For those of you that are worried that the plane might crash, this is of course just a joke, everybody. I'm not being serious. We have got 4 emergency exits. We've got 2 over here. We've got 2 down the row on that side. And, well, if you're feeling brave, you can also just go straight back behind me and over the hood of the car, and off you go. Okay, I'm done now. Right, but please fasten your seatbelts. And as the captain said earlier, tables up and armrests down. And please make sure your seat is in the upright position. Should you experience any turbulence, please do not be afraid. I don't know. Turn your volume on your music up a little bit more and, well, enjoy the ride. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get into for doing all of that. Anyways, I'm just joking to all the air hostesses out there. You guys do a fabulous job. Well done. The things that I've heard people say to air hostesses, well done for not saying anything back. I normally comment for them. I've heard some very inappropriate things here and there. Also, I don't think I'd want to spend my day up in an aeroplane. Although you get to travel, though, which is pretty epic. You get to go to all these new destinations all the time. Hey, how cool is that? A bit envious, AVM, with that sort of thing. You know, one day you could be in South Africa having a boerewors roll, and the next thing you could be in Japan eating fresh sashimi. So who knows? Well, that's the thing. I'm on the reserve, but I get to eat Happiness's cooking all the time, and Amanda's cooking, so that's fine. Rebecca said something in my ear, but I couldn't quite hear her. I think I'm sending you off to somewhere else, so we're about to take off. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Taylor. Make sure you fasten your seatbelt. What an Easter she seems to be having. Folks, well, I am in a very big compost toilet. I'm sure you've probably seen this before, but for the newcomers, if you've never seen one, what I'm inside of is actually the midden or the toilet of a white rhino. Used by the males as a form of what you'd say Facebook of the bush, whereby all the status updates, relationship status, sexual status, all of those things are updated on a daily basis, and all those coming in to investigate are able to see and to check those status. So I hope that makes some sense to those of you social media viewers out there who don't understand the idiosyncrasies of a rhino toilet. But let me bring it back to why. And I'm actually covered in flies right now because I'm in a toilet, but it is organic. It is all a vegetarian's diet, and lots of flies are landing on my face. But the reason why we stopped is to go back onto the story of the organic movement and nutrients back into the soil. So the rhino bull, this is his dung here, and he feeds on a huge amount of grass material, and that grass, which is taken from the vegetation, which is from the soil, is then deposited here and then is re-assimilated by many, many functions, namely the dung beetle, and then all sorts of other larvae and things that might live inside. So this organic material will be decomposed and digested back into the soil. And then what we have as well, Ferg's also having a bit of a fly problem over there. What we do have as well is lots of activity you can see around there, all these little divots in the ground. And what has happened here, and I've got the evidence right in front of me, you can see these beautiful feathers of the helmeted Guinea fowl, the beautiful spot pattern of the Tarantal, the Afrikaans name for the Guinea fowl. Beautiful spots And they've been coming in here and scratching and looking for all sorts of grubs and insects that might be living and surviving inside the organic material of the rhino midden. But not only that, well, you can see the dung. Here's the guinea fowl dung as well. Quite easy to identify by the whiteness. And because they're a vegetarian, it's very sort of seedy and grass-like in there. So not like a lot of other birds that you might find. The dropping is primarily white with a bit of a black spot because of just what they feed on. Here, the vegetarian diet of seeds and grass is what you find. And certain small bugs and insects as well. But what they'll often feed on, guinea fowl, is actually the dead and decaying material coming out of elephant dung and rhino material. So they will actually feed on some fresh vegetation as well. And what they've done here, not only have they dug and sort of looked for insects, also maybe a little bit of a wallow, a little bit of mud inside, not mud, but soil inside the feathers, a dust bath, and at the same time they've defecated, lost some feathers, and probably had an absolute ball of a time. So that is me on the story of the rhino toilet, but bringing it back into the greater scheme of things, this is one hot spot. As you can see when we spoke about the lion kill there earlier, look how much this area here is different from that area over there. The organic material, the nutrients, the cycle, this entire thing here is an ecosystem. And it is home to all sorts of things that we can't even perceive. Lots and lots of small things going on in there. And just the nice activity of the guinea fowl here to show us what's going on in the daily lives of the guinea fowl and the rhinoceros. But we're going to continue on. The light is perfect for a leopard to show itself, don't you think, Ferg? It's definitely leopard light. Well, folks, we're going to continue and see what we're going to do. Back over to Tristan, back on his vehicle, and see.
Now, Steve, I couldn't agree more with you that it is the perfect time of day for a leopard to pop out onto the road somewhere around all of this area. And so what we're doing now is we're going towards Gari Main because a little whisper in my ear says that there could be a potential sighting of a leopard coming onto Gari Main. So we're just heading into that direction and seeing if we're going to get lucky. And while we do that, let's send you across to Tayla, who has found the Easter Bunny on Easter.
Very, very angry at what I'm looking at because it is only almost 6:15 Central African time, and this Easter Bunny is taking a break. That's unacceptable. Easter Bunny, you've got one day a year to go around and make sure that everybody gets Easter eggs, but here you are, caught red-handed, having a sleep. Oh, your boss is going to hear about this. I'm, of course, just joking. VM spotted this very camouflaged scrub hare. It does look like a little one, too. Just sitting very, very still. Just its little nose wiggling every now and then and blinking. Maybe it flicks its ears. But it's important that during the day they do try and hide themselves out of sight. Raptors, my goodness, lots of things could come trailing through there. Pack of wild dogs, a leopard on a scent marking mission. Well, love to chase that and eat that. Anyways, let's carry on. We are also looking for leopards now. VM has insisted that I find him one this evening. He's finding all the animals though. I'm doing nothing. I'm just driving and talking nonsense today. So for all the animals you've seen so far, you can all say thank you very much, Captain Dr. VM, which will now be your name forever. We need to make you little wings though. Hey, VM? How do you feel about that? Get you a captain's hat? You can get a captain's hat and wear a stethoscope at the same time. Hey, you'll be a real hit with the ladies. Imagine you walked into the bar like that. Very cool. What? Who can't walk through a bar? Captains, why? They're not allowed, but they can go on holiday too. VM's telling me off and saying, well, yes, you shouldn't be drinking or flying, you shouldn't be drinking or driving, you shouldn't be doing any of those things. Shall we take a moment? Seeing as though it is the festive season, for those of you travelling, please be careful out on the roads. Arrive alive, take it easy, no need to speed, no need to intoxicate yourself and do any driving. Let's keep everybody safe out there on, this festive holiday. Everyone's, of course, very excited. Families are coming together. You don't want to be seeing that. And unfortunately in South Africa, I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer right now, but the amount of accidents on roads is really, really high, and always over the festive season. So come on, South Africans, let's do it this year. Let's bring those death tolls down. Up we go. I'm finished now. I'm not going to be sad anymore, but I just thought I'd just let everybody know how important it is to be safe. Rebecca, are you trying to talk to me? Because I'm just hearing beeps, but I don't know if it's you or the Game Drive radio. Did she? I didn't hear her. No. Can you hear what she said? Okay. I can't hear what's going on. I can hear sort of just beeps. I think it might be because I'm out of signal. But VM, if it's anything important, you can let me know. Right. I don't know why I've got... Ah, okay. Perfect. Hakuna Matata, Rebecca. Hakuna Matata. Okay, well, where are we going to go now? I'm just checking down around here because we did have Tumbus tracks the other day. Oh, hello. There's a blacksmith lapwing in the road. One of them. The other one you won't be able to see. It's just running off in the grass. Whee! Taking off as well. Must be a pilot too. Carry on. Let's go and see what else we can find. No. Okay? No, I've got no comms. I think what's happened is I don't have signal for some reason on my radio, which happened to me the other day. So no, what did she say? Yes, draw a bird day. Thank you for you. On the 8th of April. For any of the youngsters out there, well, the adults, if you want to give it an attempt, draw us your favorite bird. Maybe it's going to be that blacksmith lapwing. Perhaps you can draw them and try and portray how bossy they are and how they chase all the other birds away. Maybe make a little comic out of it. It'd be quite nice and be nice to see. So get ready for that, because that's happening on the 8th of April, just around the corner. Oh, yes, I love that idea. I can hear Rebecca now. Okay, here's another idea for anybody that wants to partake. Doesn't matter if you can't draw, it's fine. You've seen James's drawings, and, well, they still allow him to draw live, so you'll be okay. What Rebecca has suggested is, what if you drew a bird that would represent each one of the team members from Wild Earth? How cool would that be? It can be presenters, the cameraman, the directors, the chefs, everybody, all of the people, tech. You also need to hashtag draw a bird is very important, as well as, well, the hashtag that you're all very familiar with, hashtag Safari Live 2. When you do post those pictures so that we can see, I think we're going to be collecting them if I'm not mistaken. Rebecca, can they start posting them now, or can it only be posted on World Bird Day? Not World Bird Day. You need to post them ASAP, as soon as possible. Rebecca is going, she needs them. And yes, so do that. So get them in as soon as you can before the 8th, and I think we'll be sharing a couple of them. Right, somebody else that's got a bird that you might like to see or potentially draw is Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Tayla. We have managed to find for you the helmeted guinea fowl. And there is a flock of them here, and walking through the long grass, feeding on what looks like the inflorescence and seeds of the grasses that have probably all come into full seed now after the rains, and a very, very, very good nutrient source for these animals. They got to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak. And so when there are seeds on the grasses, this is when the birds make the most of it. You even find baboons and warthog feeding on the seeds at the moment. And those of you who've been watching my bushwalks will see that I feed on them as well, depending on the species. And they are moving around quite safely. They don't seem to be too perturbed. There's a flock on the left of us and a herd of impala around. And so there's lots and lots of eyes and ears. And there's just one of the camps at the back there, one of our staff villages. Tayla staff village. There's a beautiful impala. I haven't heard any of the rutting calls yet. You can see the beautiful females. They're also enjoying the seeds, it looks like. And there are two, it looks like a couple just off to the right here. These boys here are starting to show a little bit of something, but there's not too much in it yet. You can tell that they are basically just using as much time as they can to get fit. So they're feeding. But soon, within the next few weeks, there's going to be all sorts of testosterone and aggression shown between these males, who are obviously trying as hard as they can to be the number one ram and to get the mating right to all the females. But to do that, you need to be fit, you need to be strong, they need to make sure they get in the right amount of nutrients. And we got some more over on the right here. So slowly but surely you're going to notice the impala herds just being segregated into males as bachelor groups, and then females, large groups of females with one male doing their thing. And that sound is soon to be upon us, and will be filling the evening and morning and daytime air constantly as they continue to fight and rut and to demarcate their small territories in hope of impregnating as many females as possible. I'm looking in the direction those impala are looking, wondering what they were looking at. There's nothing there. Magic dragon, the guinea fowl, is definitely like a pheasant. It is part of the galliforms family. I'm not sure where the pheasant falls into that, but they are very, very similar. They're also known as the bushveld chicken. They are about as free range as you can get when it comes to chicken. First lady wants to know if we can eat guinea fowl eggs. I'm pretty sure you could. I would say they're very similar to chicken eggs. They have got the hardest shell out of any ground nesting bird, which I find quite incredible. Very, very hard shell. And I've never found one intact. I've never had to break one, but they will nest just in small little bushes, like where you saw those impala. Just underneath a bush like that, they'll put a little sort of scrape in the ground and line it with some grass material, and they'll lay their eggs there. And hopefully they don't get found by anything. But very, very hard. And I'm trying to think, why would they have the hardest egg? And it is eluding me. I'm sure there is a reason why they've got the hardest egg for the size. But a good time of year for them to be breeding. We haven't seen many guinea fowl of late, but a very important buffer species. We've got two buffer species here, the guinea fowl and the impala, and both of them are very, very important for predator food when droughts come. As a drought arrives, the guinea fowl numbers seem to increase, whereas a lot of your sort of herbivore animals, they decrease. And so guinea fowl will form a very important food source for cats such as leopard, caracal. Not that caracal feed too much on impala, but as your larger prey species or average prey species decline, the guinea fowl always seems to do very, very well. And they can supplement the diet of many, many small predators, and they are a favorite of the martial eagle. But very tough to eat, apparently. There's that long story of how to eat a guinea fowl. If you've all heard it before, please forgive me if I tell it one more time. The story goes, and I heard this from an old wife, and you go and you get a nice pebble from the river, and you throw the guinea fowl into this big pot with the pebble, and you boil it for about 2 days. And after 2 days, you throw away everything and you eat the pebble. That's the story of how tough the guinea fowl is. But in fact, if you do happen to have the meat, you let it hang for a little bit longer. With most game birds, you let it hang, it almost starts to decompose and it softens, and then that apparently works quite well. PT Watcher wants to know if there's any birds that lay colourful eggs, and they do. There's lots of birds. All of your nesting birds here will either have a very white egg, or it might be quite sort of blue, almost like the colour of that guinea fowl's face. Some of the weaver birds have a very blue egg. The arrowmark babbler's got a very blue egg. I've never seen anything other than blue and white, and obviously all the camouflage colours that you get. I've never seen anything. I think the robin is also, I think you're talking about a European robin. I think their eggs are white or blue, but I'm not 100% sure. Hope that answers your question. The impala, as you can see, are very relaxed. We're assuming now that there's probably no leopards in the vicinity because everyone is head down feeding. So we're still going to carry on, hopefully find you one before the end of the show, because that would be marvelous. Wouldn't it, Ferg? first night back. It would be great to see a spotted cat. We've seen the spotted bird now after they've been digging in the rhino dung, and hopefully... Oh, well, we are going to go over to Tristan, who is waiting for a spotted cat to approach.
We are indeed. We are waiting very patiently. We can hear the vehicles slowly but surely edging their way down towards us from a Torchwood side. So it's our little Hosanna friend that is inside Torchwood and coming kind of slowly down to this area. I can just make out the vehicles, and they say they can see the power lines that are just above me at the moment. And so I'm pretty sure they're not too far. They say that they're straight north of us, but it sounds to me like they're a little bit further east. But they are coming kind of in a southwesterly direction, which is good news for us. And hopefully Hosanna will make an appearance as our last-minute leopard today. That's the kind of hope anyway. And so we're going to be a bit patient and sit here. It's a nice time of the day to be sitting, because sometimes you just hear kind of birds and all those kind of things. And we've had little waxbills, we've had franklins, we've had... What else we've had? We've had the hippos down at Chitwa Dam, because we're not far from Chitwa Dam. We're just on the kind of... just a little bit east of Cheetah Cut Line at the moment, and so I'm just waiting for them to kind of all settle down, and then we should start to hear things like owls and nightjars calling. So, Nina, obviously that's one thing about South Africa that's quite interesting as opposed to other parts of the world, but generally any time of the year you can find animals, and as many animals as you probably want. That's the thing, is none of them are really migratory here, so they're here. It's just that it's easier in the winter months to find animals. And the reason why is that water becomes scarce and vegetation becomes thinner. So now we struggle a little bit with long grass and battle to see some of the animals, and it's very dense from vegetation and those kind of things. But in winter, the vegetation dies back, a lot of the leaves fall off the trees, the grass dies right down, and you have a situation where everything has to congregate around water. And so winter is generally easier to find animals. It's not that there are more animals in winter, it's just easier to find them. In summer they just spread a little bit more, but there are still the same amount of animals within this area. And you have a situation where most of them are still here. So any time of the year, it just depends on what you like and what you're looking for. For me, I always find, like I say, spring and I suppose spring actually and early summer has probably got more animals than any other time of the year, because that's when all the babies are born. Slowly but surely they get killed as they start growing up, and you start to lose a number of them. So it's probably the most animals we have is actually at that time. But seeing the most animals is probably more winter time than anything else. Touch and go. And so, obviously we get big herds of buffalo as well. Now I'm trying to listen to the update as well of what's happening with Hosanna. I can't hear the cars anymore. Maybe he's gone stationary for now. You know how he is. He's up and down and up and down, up and down. So I'm just trying to listen very carefully and see. No, it doesn't sound like anything at all. It sounds like a situation where these guys maybe have gone stationary for now. It's complicating the issue, because one of the guys that was coming to the sighting has just found the Torchwood Pride on Gari Main, but way further down near the Nkoro side, so it's kind of blocked up the radio a little bit. So I'm just waiting to get an update on Hosanna himself, but I don't hear the vehicles anymore, which gives me an idea that maybe he's stationary. Whenever an animal's mobile, you'll hear the vehicles moving and you hear the clanging of trees and as they follow through the thickets. But as soon as they go stationary, obviously everyone turns off and then it returns back to quiet. So he's got a bit of time to kind of get here, but hopefully he doesn't take too long about it, and hopefully he doesn't just lie down and sleep in that area. But it'll be interesting to see if he does come back to Chitwa, because it seems as though Tingana's headed this way, and so has that new male last night, headed towards Chitwa and then sort of cut south. Now, Tattooed Girl, the age of the oldest leopard on Djuma currently would be probably Tingana and then Tundi. So the two of them are about 12 years old. Those are the oldest ones at the moment. There's no one really, and Shadow, obviously, as well. Sorry, I almost forgot about Shadow. So those three are all of a very similar age, around 12. Everybody else is quite a lot younger. Shadulu is only about 4. Hosanna is just gone 2. Tamba's not even 2. And then you've got Hukamuri, who we think is around 6-7 years old. So they're all much younger individuals than them, and hopefully we're going to get a really nice kind of youthful set of leopards that are going to situate themselves on Juma, because that will be the future of what we're going to see over the next couple of years. Good. Now, while we sit here and just kind of wait, and I'll try and get an update on the radio, let's send you back across to Tayla, who's looking at probably the fluffiest animal that we have out here.
The fluffiest animal indeed. It's the waterbuck, the reindeers of Africa, I suppose. That's the closest thing that resembles a reindeer. Just 3 young waterbuck bulls. They've just popped past Baboon Pan in Little Gowrie to have a bit of a drink. He's got a nice splay of horns. There are birds that are going ballistic just out of my reach, and it's frustrating me because I can't go in there, and I'm almost certain that there's a leopard or some cat moving around. We've been listening to these birds alarming, starting a little bit further south to us, and then sort of passing where those waterbuck are, going to the west, so going to the right-hand side. And it's like they're flying up from the ground and going to trees, and then they do that very nervous sort of Franklin call that we all love to hear when we're tracking. Always a helping hand. It tells us, well, what we could potentially expect. But sadly, nothing just yet. And we had a good look around on Chitwa, but unfortunately didn't find him. What was that? Oh no, it's the other waterbuck. I could hear a sound, and it actually was that waterbuck on the right, walking through that sort of marshy section, was sort of sludging. At first I thought it was elephants breaking branches. They're also very cautious. And they'll be listening to what the birds are having to say. I could potentially determine which route they take. Off they go. It's a pity we didn't get much of a sunset tonight, but what a beautiful evening nonetheless. All right, off we go. What we're going to do now is I think we're going to start checking some of the boundaries, just having a look to see and find out in a minute. I don't know, I just have a feeling we might get lucky and catch a cat moving across one. So I'm going to follow my gut, and hopefully it's going to, well, win us a cat. And I hope Tristan manages to get Hosanna too. I'm not really sure where he is. If he would actually see the track a bit further back behind us. Right, well, we're going to navigate through this wild gremlin-infested road, and off you go to Steve to see what he's up to.
Thank you very much. Tayla is having gremlins on Easter, or is it Easter gremlins? I'm not quite sure. The afternoon is beautiful. I love this temperature. It is that time of year where it's just between the heat of summer and the coolness of winter, where you don't need too many warm clothes, but it's nice, the change of the seasons, and it's perfect weather for animals that aren't as fat as the unkuhumas to be moving around. Unkuhumas aren't going to go anywhere, folks. I'm pretty sure about that. They're going to lie there, maybe have a drink or two from time to time, but I'm pretty sure they'll be exactly where we left them tomorrow. The only difference is the smell will have gone up quite a degree, which Ferg and I already were commenting on. It was quite marvelous. Forever eyes peeled for the ever elusive spotted cat. It's that perfect time of day for the predators to be moving. Hyenas are up at this time, leopards, lions, if they're around. Definitely this is when we have our best opportunity of spotting them. And the moon is still going to be quite bright. We had moon, I think, when was full moon? Last night? Or is it tonight? I actually think that it might be blue moon last night. Last night was a blue moon. Those of you who know what a blue moon is, it's when we have 2 full moons in the same calendar month. And the last blue moon that we had, I was up in the Maasai Mara, and it was a super moon, it was a blood moon, it was just unbelievable. And definitely my experience is predators don't do very well on moonlit nights. So the moon will be rising 51 minutes or so after the sunset, and it's going to be a very bright night. So there won't be too much, I don't think, too much movement with regards to cats. If they do move, what I find is they like to do territory marking, they like to call, they like to patrol their boundaries. because hunting is not their best time. It's not the best time for hunting because they just stand out in the field of gold they're walking through, and the predator's ability to hunt is the camouflage that they have. And if they move quietly but they're visible, it is not very helpful for them. But you never know. You never know. Maybe before the moon comes up, the sun has only set about half an hour ago, so it's still time. But it's just wonderful to be back. I mean, I did go on leave, but I didn't really go into a city or anything like that. So I've been in the wilderness this entire time, which has been magical. My heart is still quite full with the wilderness and the smells and the sounds. Quite often I'll go somewhere and end up in Johannesburg or Cape Town, and then by the time you come back, it takes you 2 or 3 days just to shake off the city. Don't know if anybody can relate to that. But the smells and the sounds are already here, which is great. It normally takes a few days for them to overwhelm me again. Samu, 9 years old, what a marvelous question. He asked, do birds ever attack guides on game drives? Well, one of the birds that is quite notorious for attacking people is called a crowned lapwing. I will find it for you. And they like to hang out on golf courses. And when people play golf, they get a bit too close to the lapwings' nests, and the lapwings will dive bomb them. But I believe David got attacked by an owl on drive. Shame. Everything is after Dave, it seems. If there's ever a charge... Last night, Dave got hit in the face by an owl. Well, I've never heard of that before, but it obviously happens. So let me find... Where are you? Where are you? Crowned. There we go. Let me show you quickly. These birds are notorious for dive bombing people on golf courses. It's purely because you get very close to their nest, and then they dive bomb. I've also seen blacksmith lapwings, which is probably, let's go this way, that one. They also have been quite known to dive bomb people, but I've never been hit by one. But I know of many a golfer that has taken a few of those birds to the head. But other than that, I don't know of any other birds that deliberately attack people. We are quite big, and they might just dive bomb you just to move you away. But to physically actually do what the owl did to Dave last night, I don't know. Maybe he had something in his hair. He's got quite a marvelous head of hair, that man. So who knows? He might have unknowingly had something in there that the owl went for. Maybe it thought it was a nest or a scrub hair. I don't know. Thought it was a living nest. Yeah. Well, David's gone on leave now, so I didn't even get to find out about that story. He will have to have a chat with me about that another time, and we will mock him. Okay, well, we're going to go to Tristan because he's actually a first eyewitness on the scene. Let's see what he has to say.
I was indeed. It was pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. I was just driving along, and then all of a sudden out the corner of my eye, I just saw this thing flying straight towards one of the guys that I know. Well, I mean, one of the guys that I know is about to come past me now, so I just want to quickly chat to him. And I'll give me 2 seconds and I'll carry on with my story. How's it, Wood? Good. Hosanna's is going to... Yeah, you know where they crossed, eh? Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Cheers, bud. Sorry, buddy. There we go. So we're just saying sorry to Peter because we parked him in a place where he has a little bit of an issue to try and get past. There's a big torchwood tree that he's got in there. But as we're saying, poor David got hit in the face. This bird literally flew straight into him. I thought it was going to veer away because often we have the nightjars that kind of fly in and they just kind of do these things and then they just turn at the last second. But last night that didn't happen. It was just funny. This bird just literally flew straight into his face and David was ducking out the way and then it kind of flew away from him from there. It was pretty funny to watch, and the bird was unharmed, David was unharmed, and so all was good. Now the lights for the cars that are following Hosanna, as you can see, are right here coming straight towards us at the moment. So there are the lights that are following him, and hopefully we are going to get a view of Hosana imminently. It should be kind of somewhere in that general vicinity. He should pop out. So he is moving down towards us at the moment. And so we are going to hopefully get a last minute leopard. There's a few minutes still to go, and like I say, he is moving this way. The problem is he's kind of going west-southwest, so it's taking longer than it should to get towards us, but I'm going to keep going back. Andrew, chances of a leopard taking down a fully grown buffalo is almost zero. A fully grown bull buffalo. A fully grown female, possible. The reason why I say it's pretty much zero, the only time that it would be possible is in a time of drought, when you've got a situation where you've got buffalo that are really, really weak and are in a situation where they're not able to really hunt effectively. Then you'd have a problem. So I'm just trying to get back, because apparently Hosana is mobile quickly to the west now rather than the south, and so I'm just trying to kind of see where he is. So Tax is now calling me as well. Go ahead, Tax. Yeah, we can see in the lights. So please excuse the lights with the infrared. It does sometimes make it a little bit more kind of difficult. But there we go. There you can see Hosana kind of bouncing along through the thickets. He is going to come pretty much straight towards us, so we will have him at some point. We just need to kind of get ourselves into a good position, but at least that's a glimpse, and he is heading our way, so the chances of us not seeing him nicely is pretty slim, but at least we're going to have a little bit of time as well. I thought maybe we were going to be foiled by time, but it seems as though we're going to get this right. So Tristan, you say, come on boys, show your pretty face. Well, I think he's going to try and show us his pretty face. Well, we're going to hope that he's going to show us his pretty face. He is kind of moving towards us, so we're trying to follow the lights at the moment. It seems as though he is kind of between us and where that vehicle is, and kind of moving in our direction. So hopefully we will spot him shortly, very close to the road. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm just trying to add a bit of light so that I can actually see what's going on, because it's not easy to see at all at the moment, and he's moving so quickly that it's seriously difficult to kind of keep up with what's going on. And I'm trying to reverse and not hit any cars that could potentially be coming down this main road, because I don't really want to reverse into somebody. We've already had one accident this week with Brent. We don't need to have another one. So he's somewhere in this general vicinity where those cars are. I think he's still heading a little further away. Or is he on the branch there? He's behind the big bushes, Craig says to me. So that's where Craig is saying he is at the moment. But he is moving, so it's okay. As long as he keeps moving, he's going to kind of come to our side, hopefully. He's heading straight west from what I hear, and not south, which is not ideal. So I'm just got to try and avoid some trees that I don't hit myself on the back of the head, even though it's probably not the worst thing to do. Shake up the old brain a bit. So here's probably going to be our best shot to see him. Hopefully he's going to come straight down this road at us. So what I'm hoping is he's walking west, and then he's going to kind of just veer southwards towards me. So he should come out somewhere there. I'm going to use a bit of light just to help, because of how far it is. The infrared is going to... there we go. Hello, boy. Well done, Craig. You've spotted him there. And he's still moving westwards. He's not actually coming south yet. So, still a situation where we're going to have to reverse further. I was hoping that we were going to see him kind of coming straight towards me, but being a young man, and he's on his own little kind of idea of where he wants to go. So, hopefully he will kind of head in this direction. There's a big termite mound there. Let's just stop here. Maybe he's going to go up onto the termite mound. No, nothing there. So it seems as though he's coming through. You can see that there's lights being shone. Oh, there he is. He's coming straight towards us. So I'm just going to go back slightly, just so that we can not kind of cut him off his path. But there he is, right there. Excellent news. Hello, boy. you've been on a big walk today, so we've tracked him all over the place trying to kind of follow him, and he eventually went into Torchwood and Rex and found him about 400 meters from where we had his last track, so we're obviously just behind him the whole afternoon. But isn't he looking fantastic? And the fact that he stayed on Juma, even though he had this incident with Hukamuri, goes to show that he's not that afraid at the moment. And so whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not quite sure, but either way, it's so epic to have a leopard to finish the show. And you can see he's just kind of ambling right past us as he does. So I'm just going to try and stay out the way of the infrared lights, and straight across into Chitwa. Chitwa is where he's going. So we're going to try and see if we can keep up with him. It's at least not too thick the way that he's walking. It's kind of nice and open, so it'll be perfectly okay to follow him through here, or should be. So I'm going to do such and try and keep up with him and try and see if we can work out where he's off to. Maybe we'll bump into Tingana on the way as well, because there's a situation where Tingana came this side too. So here we go. Sorry, Craig, let me turn off my lights because it's going to make the infrared not as bright. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to follow him around. There's a nice big fallen over tree here that I'm hoping he might actually decide to go up. No, he's still just slowly ambling down, sniffing around. I think he's probably on the prowl as well. They said to me that he was chasing warthogs just now. You can see all the dust that just came off him, because apparently he plunged his head into a hole trying to get after a warthog. And so I think he's hungry, which means that he's going to probably be moving around trying to find food. Hello. This is that curious face that he's always got. Very cool cat. So fortunate that we've got a cat like this in our area. He really provides us with the most insane amount of entertainment and such an intriguing character to follow. So very, very cool. And what a way for us to finish our Easter Sunday, don't you think? I think it's a perfect way to finish Easter Sunday. We've had lions, we've had elephants, we've had pretty much everything that all of us like. Now, sorry Craig, I'm going to have to use the lights because otherwise I can't see where I'm going, and that's going to lead in us having an accident, which I'm pretty sure Craig doesn't want us to have. So we'll try and kind of keep the lights on for now. I also need to get hold a chat with everybody and let them know that we have crossed south with this leopard, the guys in the east, so that they can come as well. And while we do that, I'm going to send you back across to Tayla McCurdy, who's still looking around for some little night critters.
Yep, I am looking for night critters, and Tristan, if I bump into you, you'll be the first one that I find. I don't think we're going to see chameleons on a night like tonight. I think it's a bit chilly. Let me just say maybe a bush baby, and then baby came out. Maybe a bush baby. Last night I actually saw one very quickly. It just bounced from branch, and now Rebecca is singing, baby, baby, baby. I'm not going to do the ooh part because I can't sing, but hopefully that song is now also stuck in your head like it will be in mine for the rest of the evening. Anyways, maybe a nightjar, an owl would be really cool. I would not mind seeing an owl, spotted eagle owl in particular. I feel like it's been a long time since I put one on camera. I don't know if I've ever put a spotted eagle owl in the Sabi Sand. I think in the Mara. Did I? I can't remember. Anyways, when I went out for a safari in Buffels Hook, we did see a really cool spotted eagle owl. It was so relaxed. It was quite happy to just sit on a wood pile. I think they were living up in the sort of rafters of this thatched area during the day. That's where they were getting their shade and cool, nice cool spots. So very clever of them. And then it was just sitting on the wood pile, which was epic. So you could get nice photos of it. Very obliging. Normally owls are not the most obliging of the nocturnal critters. Scops owl. One that calls in camp every single night. Oh, by the way, just random change of topic because I forgot to tell you. We didn't really play cricket today. Brent, Tristan, Conrad, David. Who else went, Liam? I don't know who else went. Just briefly played. I think that was all. Practicing for tomorrow. I think it was just the boys. I decided to give it a bit of a skip. I'm going to go. I definitely will go play, but I think tomorrow is the official cricket game. The weather was also a bit miserable. I think everyone was tired, but we are ready. There will be sweatbands and half-time, cooler boxes, with nice cold waters. We still haven't done orange slices yet, like we've been saying. Oh, and we've got, you guys haven't even heard. I don't know if anybody said we have a new person working for Wild Earth now. His name is Luke. Hi, Luke. And Luke is going to be training up to be a director. He just laughed at me. Good. That's the response that one should sort of give back to me. Just laugh and shake your head and then move away swiftly before I say something weird. So here we go. Hopefully we'll be able to show you what Luke looks like. He's from the coast, the east coast. We're raining in all the people from the coast, from Durban, from the KZN. And I think he told me he went to Glenwood High School, if I'm not mistaken. Just give you his history. His ID number is... No, I'm just joking. I'm not going to give you that information. Don't be silly. Could it possibly be a chameleon or not? Liam? Oh no. Oh no. Yes, please. Please be one. Woo! I can go closer. VM, let me go closer. I'm so excited. Woo! That was a very excited noise I did there. It is a chameleon. Yay! Hi, chameleon. Say hello. Okay. We're going to stay here because our chameleon's not going to go anywhere, so I'm going to send you to Tristan with Hasana, who's moving quickly.
Well, Hasana is moving very, very fast. He's kind of coming towards us now, and he was actually watching a Easter bunny, so he wants his Easter bunny snack as well, and he's just standing now watching where this little scrub here ran in front of our car. So he's looking as stately as ever. Isn't he looking magnificent? The way that he's standing now is starting to show that he's getting bigger and bigger. He's got a nice broad chest starting to develop, and even a little bit of a dewlap, and really is looking like an impressive male. It's so funny, this particular spot that he's standing right now, I have seen in Duna, I have seen Shivambalana, I've seen Hosana, and I have seen, I'm just trying to think of who the other one was, one of the other offspring of Karula, all in this exact same kind of position, and all when, the males, all when they were distributing. In fact, the other male was not any of Karula's offspring, it was Torchwood. That was the other male that I saw in this area, and so they've all used this particular section as young individuals that move around. Now, you can see he's kind of just going to walk right past our vehicle, heading straight down to Chitwa Lodge. That's where he's off to. He's going to be making his way towards the dam itself, and is going to probably head. There you can see the lights of Chitwa Lodge in the background. So something about Chitwa makes Hosana very, very happy and makes him head in that direction regularly. He seems to always kind of go there and move that way. Now, like I say, there is going to be a spotlight, so with our infrared, I do apologize if it flares. It's just, unfortunately, the guests that are out here, they can't see with just their eyes, and they don't have the ability to have an infrared. And you can see how he doesn't care about cars. He literally just walks right around them and kind of carries on as though they mean nothing. So we're going to go around and try and keep up. Now, there's a lot of different vehicles that I want to come here. Tingana apparently went into an area where it was very difficult, so I don't know how much longer we're going to have with him. We're probably only going to have the next 2-3 minutes or so, and then we're going to probably have to start thinking about giving others a chance. Even though we were patient and waited, it's the same kind of story, is that the guys made space for us when we found him, and so, you know, we're going to need to be the same way. But what I'm hoping is that he's going to go for a little drink of water. Ooh, doesn't look like it. So he's just going to park right here. I was hoping he was going to go for a drink of water and then towards a termite mound, but it seems as though he's going to change direction now and head straight out of our area. Hosana, you can't come under the car, boy. He's going to try anyway. So there he goes. He's just crossing off into Little Gari, unfortunately, which is not ideal. I'm going to try and just go forward a little bit. So there he goes. He's going kind of in towards Little Gari and out of our area. So that's the last view we're going to get of him, which is still fantastic. At least we got to see him, and at least we got a chance to watch our boy moving around. Good. Now, from one nocturnal creature that is very exciting to another one that we've hardly seen over the last few weeks, And that is a very special one, and I'm not sure who's got it, but it will be exciting.
It's me, Tristan. I has it. I has the chameleon. I'm just joking. I can actually speak English. I have the chameleon, everybody. Woohoo! You don't understand how excited I am because I've been searching far and wide for you. We're also in infrared, as you can see. Normally the chameleons are green in colour, but we've decided to keep the spotlight off of this fella, and we'll just let it go about its day. All ready to hold on for the night. It's got its feet tightly wound on the edge of this large fruited bush willow, and it doesn't look like it's got any intention in going anywhere, as it's just... Does it close its eyes, Liam? Was it looking away? I think it's looking away. Remember, those eyes can move round and round in all different types of directions, so I think it might just be trying to look behind them. And they do have a blind spot at the back of their heads. They can't see what's going on back there. You can see those eyes working so hard. Hello. You should be in bed now. It's obviously crawled out from the denser vegetation where it would have been hiding away from birds and snakes and other types of critters that would want to eat it, and now hanging out on a stem, a little stem, and just enjoying the nice cool evening. And it's quite a big flap-neck chameleon too. It's not a small one. It's, if I made a fist with my hand, it's probably the size of that, so a decent size in fact. It looks very fat and healthy. Now, with some lizards, they often store the fat in their tails. I don't know if chameleons do that, because I've never seen chameleons with sort of, sort of really sort of fat and thick tails. They're normally relatively slender. But you do see that with a lot of the lizards. They store all the fat in the end of the tail, and then they'll use that when, well, times are tough. But yay, we got a chameleon, finally. It seems as though Steve has managed to find his way back at the lions. I'm pretty sure from where we are, I could hear them contact calling.
Yes, you can. Can you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's just have a quick listen. We've got one lioness feeding. Just hear that sort of generator-like sound. Cervical vertebrae of the Kudu. The ripping of flesh. Kudu carcass is still hidden by those bushes, so we can't actually see what that lioness is doing. Just like earlier, we couldn't really see it, but we can just hear the noises coming from behind that bush. Jill wants to know, what are they trying to say when they contact call? And they're just trying to communicate with each other, trying to call the family members that might be close by, calling the cubs. Look at that. That beautiful scene. It's normally for cubs or for locating the rest of the pride. To use our spotlight in the front here, just to get a little bit of illumination. But there's absolutely no visual